Welcome to Pod 63. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Balls and Brews, baby. That one's better.
That might be that's their best one.
That is for sure. So we're finishing up the Dust Bowl 12-pack. That was 4 different samplers, if you will. And I gave them all pretty much zeros up until this one.
Yeah.
And this is their West Coast. I'm sorry.
West Coast.
Tomorrow's Clear Dust Bowl out of Turlock drinks at 7.3. That's their best one, which
Easily.
is very surprising because I traditionally at this point lean a hazy for sure.
I like West Coast.
I like West Coast more than the other. If I'm going to have an IPA that's not a hazy, give me a West Coast.
Well, yeah.
This should be their flagship, though.
Yeah, agreed. This is
the cold brew and the one we had last week were just super bland, and then the hazy just wasn't hazy.
Yeah, that one was weird. Remember, it gave off like Hefeweizen vibes. It was very odd.
100%.
So overall, thank you for ending. It's best to end, on your best note, exactly on your high note.
On a 7-3 as well.
Yeah, no, good
7-3.
start. Good start. Speaking of, how about the US of A?
You want to talk? Have you had any new beers lately?
Oh, goodness gracious, you're so right.
I did have a
got all excited.
I did have a Deschutes mix pack at 3 of them. So it was Fresh Squeeze, which is a delicious brewski.
Classic.
A tropical hazy and a
their squeezy,
yeah,
whatever that is. Squeezy trop haze, yeah.
And then a tropical and another one that was pretty good. What was the other one? There was a third one. I think it was like more of a grapefruit beer.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. It was three of them though, and they were really good. So
nice.
Yeah.
No
favorite in that group.
The tropical.
Nice. You do tend to lean fruit.
And Fresh Squeeze is just such a
it's a nice
dude. It's always been a stellar brewski.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a
go-to.
It's a classic. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. As far as new beers. Not new ones. Had some red rye lager from good old Pigeon Head.
Love that beer.
Super good. Convinced my pops to drink. Do you guys remember when we had Murder by I forget the brewery name. It was the white can and it had a murder of crows killing each other, and it was like a Mexican chocolate sweet stout.
Yep.
I convinced him to drink that last one with me. He'd been aging on it, and I was like, I want this beer, and he's like, well, you gave it to me. I was like, you're drinking it with me, and he's like, fine. So we drank that, which was delicious. So thanks, Pop. Shout out to you for letting me get my hands on your good beer. And then I want to say that's it on like the craft stuff. I bought a double blonde that we'll be drinking next week, as we decided we weren't going to do 4 because we are also going to do a cider a little later from that Teton, which was really good.
Dude, there's 2 more flavors too, so there's still 2 more flavors.
So we still have options to go.
Teton,
I appreciate that absolutely.
Honey.
Interesting.
There's an Imperial that I didn't grab for that reason, and then there's a honey something. I can't remember, but it was honey something. I can't remember, but I was like, Imperial, nope, let's move on. And so we'll show you later.
I don't know. That doesn't stop me really. Like if I want the beer, I'm going to buy the beer.
Well, we're going to have it.
13, 14ers on here.
I just knew that we were drinking these 2.
Sure, which were already going to be a little thick. What about you, Money? What you been drinking? Now that you've been off the meds.
The meds.
I haven't really gone too hard.
Good. That's also good. I applaud that.
Just been having some ones that I've had before. I had still some of the dank of that Sierra Nevada.
That's a good beer.
That's a good beer.
It's a good beer.
I forget what the other leftover was. There was I think we've had them on pod before. There was a golden porter.
Ooh, I don't remember that.
By Sierra Nevada?
Maybe. Yeah, Sierra Nevada. I'll look it up.
Interesting.
But I think we've had
porter.
It on the pod.
I don't know if I've ever had a golden porter, period.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. A golden porter.
Well,
while Trev's looking that up, I bought a 6-pack of Mind Haze.
Okay.
The Firestone Hazy. Dude, that is such a solid fucking beer.
One?
Yes, I love that beer.
Yeah.
It's like one of my, if you said, if that was, if it's one of the, I'm always picking it if there's nothing else because it's going to be good.
Okay, I can see that. Sure, it's definitely a coppable. Yes, exactly. That was the one on the far left. Yep. Which is hilarious because if you look at those fucking beers, those are all dark beers right there. That fucking coffee thing was weird though. That thing was
because you weren't supposed to be here, so it was going to be a me and Trev thing, and me and him were going to drink it up. That's why I got it because it was more. Yeah, it was more
It
of a me and
happens.
Trev thing.
It happens.
Man, maybe I didn't bring it on the pod.
No, I don't think so.
New beer to bring.
I've never heard of a golden porter though.
Very interesting.
I've seen now they make what they call white stouts. Have you ever had one of those? Dragon or New Holland Dragon's Milk does a white stout that is phenomenal.
Have we not had that?
No, I've brought in the regular one. I've tried to track it down. It must have been a seasonal release.
That'd be cool. I've never seen a white stout.
Dude, and it's super good. It's really good. It's hard to describe the flavor because it's not like a traditional stout.
Uh-huh.
It's actually more like aggressive, if you will, in the like. It almost tastes, which is gonna sound crazy that I say this, but like a green coffee bean.
Huh.
Like, yeah, you would like it a lot. It's really good. I will see if I can track it down once again.
But you did ask about the Olympics.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to Team USA, all of us out there, or just shout out to the world. Whoever got to that stage and competed is fucking brilliant.
So let's start with the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen Curry.
Oh, I was
Dude.
like, Michael Phelps retired.
He fucking drained those 4 threes at the end of that game, and that fucking fourth one was from his fucking hip over Wemby too.
He carried us basically
In the
from
last
the
two.
semis
Yep.
to yeah.
Boy.
His
like
daggers were too much.
Him and LeBron were pretty crazy that LeBron at his age was still like so dominant we might not like agree with his way he does some of his stuff, but he was pretty fucking dominant in the Olympics, as well as Steph took a little bit to get on and then all of a sudden went off. You know who else was silently dominant or silently
The Silent Assassin?
doing a great job, I thought, was Book.
Yeah,
Oh, Book.
yeah.
I thought D
1000%.
Book played really, really well.
Yeah,
Like every game.
which is a good sign for the 2028 team when
Yeah.
LeBron and Steph are more than likely
And
not there.
KD might
I
not
would
be there.
imagine
And he
not.
had a first 3 games were good, and then he kind of slowed down.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, man. There's still a lot of fucking good talent in this country. I'm not worried about 2028 necessarily, but Steph did drag us through the mud, bro. If he was not there, we would have not even medaled. I don't even know if we would have
those
gotten
shots
past
were
the
sick.
semis.
Those shots were sick.
I
bro.
mean, shit, dude. Or we would have bronze medaled gamed, and then who knows if we would have won. I don't know. I don't even want to think about that. But as it stands, we got the gold because, yeah, Steph Curry went fucking ice in his veins, dude. Just didn't matter. And I saw a breakdown of, like, the way that they were playing offense. And, like, Kevin Durant passed up a wide open LeBron James multiple times to pass to Steph Curry with a guy even on him because he trusted Curry to make the shot. They won 2 chips together.
Old teammates.
They
what you
played,
mean?
yeah, exactly. And he's like, I've seen this for fucking years, LeBron.
I mean, LeBron was playing well, but
He played great.
They don't have the same
LeBron
chemistry.
played amazing. Like, there's no real doubt about it. He definitely carried the team for a couple of different games.
AD played really well off the bench.
did.
Embiid finally had a half decent game in the semifinals, right? Or was it the finals? He had one good game. It was either the finals or semifinals. He had a good game finally.
It was the semis.
Yeah,
it was
it was
definitely the semis.
Was it the semis?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. We're not real big Embiid fans on this pod. He doesn't really tickle our fancy
He's
very
just
much.
so roller coastery. There are days where I truly do pull for Joel Embiid, and then there are other days where I am just sick of hearing him talk. And I can't tell you why it comes and goes that way. Like I don't know.
I'm kind of over him.
I can understand. Trust the process. The process has been 8 years in the making now, and you ain't even gotten to a conference final. Like,
Well, this is their year.
Yeah, Maxey
You
looking looking sick. Paul George. So we'll see.
that's fine. I mean, get the chip in the NBA, and how about the Eagles? Take a step back.
So let's talk medal count.
Get it. Tell
So
us. I want to know.
U.S. had the most at 126. Second was
Flex on him, Trev.
Flex on
him, Trev.
Second was 91. U.S. had 40 golds, tied with China at
yep.
40. So we dominated the medal count. But check this out. So Japan had 20 golds.
Okay.
So they kind of finished third.
Right.
They had 45 medals, right?
Nice. So they were gold or bust, basically.
Australia had 53. So Australia had 8 more. Only had 18. So they're fourth. France had 64 total medals, only 16 gold, so that put them fifth because they had 26 silvers and 22 bronzes. So that puts them third. Actually, it puts them fourth in the total count because Great Britain down there at 7. Netherlands had beat Great Britain with 15. Great Britain had 14 because but they had 65. So technically, Great Britain had the third most things, but all the way down. Third most medals.
The third most things.
But I mean, good showing for the host country of France. They were pretty much in most of the events.
It sounds like there was a lot of good competition throughout that game. Whose phone be ringing?
Mine.
Okay, it's like
I gotta check. Did any of you catch Ledecky though?
Oh my God! Thank you for shouting.
I
her
had
out.
to bring
What
her
a
up.
Yeah,
because
she dominated.
What a
the
beast.
distance, like that was the most dominant performance I saw.
Her discipline
Olympics.
in the pool is unmatched as of the current moment. Oh my Lord, she's impressive.
She's a fish.
Yeah, she's a fish. Dude, there's a video from a couple of years back where she's swimming with a glass of milk on her head, and it you watch it just float. Her head does not move for the whole 100 meters. It's ridiculous.
Does you have anybody else on top of your tongue that you want to shout?
We definitely have to mention Simone Biles, right?
The whole gymnastics team.
Slayed. Absolute,
our track
dominance
and field
again.
slayed too.
They've won, relays, individuals, males, females. Everybody was medaling for the United States when it came to track, and even the field events were fantastic. We repped when it came to the javelin throw and the discus and the It was great. I really, for some reason, I do enjoy the track and field. That's for sure the one that probably grabs my attention the most outside of obviously basketball. But I know. And then Aaron, shout out to you for updating big time on the wrestling. We snagged a lot of fucking medals in wrestling as well. So we did some awesome work there. But yeah, no, shout out to Simone Biles in particular, going out and, repping the United States, just shutting it down. It's not a question when she's on the mat. So dope.
Let's jump into football. We got some bad news to kind of start with.
Preseason is underway officially, so you want to just get the big bad news.
Let's
out
get
of
the
the
big
way?
bad news, and I feel super bad.
I don't know how you can't.
JJ McCarthy done for they didn't say the year, but he's got a torn meniscus.
Yeah, he's out.
Well, he already went under full repair.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I mean, he is youthful, so there is that chance. But at the same time, if you're Minnesota, don't you kind of you were kind of already trying to not put him out there, for the season anyway. So
let's dive into that playbook. Let's start really working the playbook. Let's get our film sessions in.
I guess that's totally true. There's nothing to stop the mental game at all. I mean, other than obviously rehab sucks and get well soon, McCarthy. That sucks, bro. You looked pretty good in your preseason game. You threw a great fucking pass up the left sideline. It was what every coach wants to see.
Our first and second string looked good. It was when the third string came in, but that's for another time.
That's traditionally why they're third string.
Did you see last night, though, we talked about somebody looking good in preseason. Drake May had a nice little game last night. He threw a couple balls that, if they get his feet worked out, he's got a cannon for an arm. That ball he threw over the middle was fucking hot.
Oh, he has an there was no knock on arm strength. That was never a question for May. And he actually scored with his feet. Yep.
So, he is a runner. So,
oh, yeah, much more than people would probably think. When's the last time you seen a fucking running quarterback in New England?
A backup at some point, maybe?
Exactly. Yeah. Tom Brady been a statue since he was, a Patriot. So, I mean.
Talking about the Patriots, they trade Matthew Judon to the Falcons, man.
They're
Falcons making moves, dude. They didn't go out and get Justin Simmons, a safety,
for sure. Yeah, from
the Broncos last year, because he's still a free agent.
Which means they're doing it's so. They're with now. You didn't know this at the draft, right? These two acquisitions were going to be able to be made for a third-round pick because they got Simmons in free agency. They didn't have to give up not a doo-doo for him. So
they only gave a third round for Judon?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, they're straight compensate, just one third-round pick.
Wow.
No player, no multiple years, nothing. Just one third-round pick in 2025. Absolutely. He's had at least 9.5 sacks for fucking 4 years straight.
I'd traded a fucking second-round pick to get him if I knew I could get a third.
It's really good to know the known sometimes. Now, granted, everybody can have a fall off, right? But I don't know, getting out of that New England, I'm sure he's super happy. Going to Raheem Morris, who's a known defensive guy. Atlanta's really got some juice going on down there now. That's a fucking legit trade. I think that could be a bigger piece to the puzzle than people like that. With these two moves, I think the NFC South has shifted
Well, I think it was the Falcons. I think they just took way over now.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like I went from, I think, because I placed the Bucks, I believe, when I was talking about the NFC South as the number one. In my, you wrote that down. Z's gonna get some reference.
We do need to check. We do need to check the North.
Definitely like a chips into the table though. Like,
I know, but I agree with that. I love that because they're saying with the
you did.
Yeah, because I'm higher on Baker than you guys were, and we don't know Kurt's health and like new coach, like so.
You know who the other safety is in Atlanta? Jesse Bates.
Yeah, he was
another
dude.
great safety.
No, they.
So your parent, you got a nice little back end.
And they once again just signed him.
Yeah,
just signed him. Brilliant.
Terrell,
fucking brilliant. When I read that,
Terrell?
my jaw dropped. I was like,
Yeah,
Falcons.
that's a corner.
Yeah,
he's good.
So AJ Terrell is a great.
So then
I'd say he's top 15.
Their back end's working up. You know, it's just now you get Judon to the line.
Well, that's what they were missing.
Yep.
Was a pure
and
pass rusher.
And that's why we all were like, dude, why didn't you get like one of the pass rushers instead of Penix? And so this move doesn't quite necessarily make up for that, but it does help now that you're bolstering.
They did draft some defensive linemen too, but this is definitely the more impactful move.
Exactly. You passed up the premium draft spot and then got him later in the rounds, which in theory is going to be the lesser of the talent, if you will. But like, thank you for letting us draft Byron Murphy because he's a fucking animal.
But I mean, they were all open at that point.
We'll get back to that when we talk about the NFC West.
They were all open at that point.
Sure.
Because the first defensive player didn't go.
Dallas
Turner was still on the board. The kid from UCLA was still on the board.
Yeah.
So, dude,
that's who went first defensively.
Everybody was still on the board.
Yeah.
Dude. So, I mean, that's great. We kind of dogged him for that, but it doesn't necessarily make up for it. But Judon could have another nice year.
98% of all NFL reviewers of the draft shit on the Falcons' first pick. Like, there was only a very small percent who was like, they're playing for the future. Well, you technically wasn't Kirk Cousins supposed to be the future. You just gave him.
Well, I don't think that Kirk Cousins is the future. I think Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins' injury is not much of a future.
Kirk Cousins was the win now situation.
Fair enough.
Also, in football, this is crazy. Fucking this Reddick thing going on, Hassan Reddick thing with trading, and then now he's only building in the building one freaking time.
Too bad they're not doing Hard Knocks this season,
dude.
Man.
What
shit?
Been in the building once, wants a new contract, dude. This is. I don't know if I've ever remember hearing of anything like this.
No, we never have. We've never seen a trade.
Only the Jets, like, to trade for someone and not have a deal in place, knowing that he wanted a new deal.
Well, that's why he wanted out of Philly.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, that could be an ugly situation.
Like, do you think the Jets fold, or do you think they just let him fucking eat turds because it's on him? Like, he does have 1 year. He's not a free. Like, he is under contract. He would lose $790,000 every game he doesn't play.
I think that he.
Are you holding out for that?
I think he ends up coming back.
Yes,
maybe first
because
game.
The Jets don't bend. I don't think the Jets give him anything, and I don't think they deal him.
He hasn't even been in the building. How can you give a guy a new you should have known that this is what you were getting into, like Trev said.
And this seems like if they don't figure it out, this is going to be a problem. Like, this is definitely a distraction on the defensive side.
At this point, you maybe look for another trade. Maybe look to trade him. And then to a team that does want to sign him. At this, I mean, it just seems like
if they could get some
cut your losses or something. I mean, it just
if they could get something.
But who's going to trade for that?
Up.
Maybe somebody will sign. Maybe somebody will sign. Yeah.
I mean, I guess Hassan Reddick he had 2 really good seasons in Philly and 1 okay season in Philly. So he's definitely, once again, the known. It's the Judon. If you can give me a 3rd rounder for him, not necessarily me. What
did they trade for? Do you guys remember what they traded for?
Yeah, there was a 3rd. It was a 3rd
for Reddick.
Yeah, the Jets was a 3rd. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fucking me. What the fuck are we not drinking?
Maybe the Raiders want to trade.
I don't want to sign him.
Well, because you got to sign Crosby to a big contract. He's not under money yet, and then also, okay. Well, then you just brought over Wilkins, right? So you are heavily invested in your D line already, for sure. Mm-hmm. So I mean, not that you do. Oh my god,
I want Judon who's not sitting out. I don't want Reddick who's going to sit out.
Yeah, that's true. Because Judon wasn't about money. Judon was just he just wanted out of New England.
He saw that shit show.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
Because then he can become a free agent and then get the big ass.
He can
contract
reset his
next
own
year.
market this year. Exactly. So I don't know why Hassan isn't thinking it that way. Why wouldn't he just go into the Jets, try to win a Super Bowl, and then go get fucking money?
Maybe
the
he
next
knows
year?
he ain't got none left, Chuck. Ain't
Ooh,
got none left.
Ouch, son. That's not a terrible take, to be fair.
He wasn't very good last year.
Last year was the Schman year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he was less than impressive. I'm pretty sure last year. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought last year was the year that he.
Well, clearly that defense fell apart the last month and a half of the year.
Oh, just thought of this. Did you see that he should be on our shit list? Chase Claypool got released by the Bills. That'll be Bills.
Well, no,
get rid of
he
that
was on
shit.
IR, so they just
becomes a problem.
Get rid of that shit.
They
I
were
like that.
They were gonna put him on IR. He was. So
Yeah.
they just released him because they didn't have to.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah,
I
no, I agree.
Don't want that in my locker room.
Well, no, especially now that you're hurt.
In JA's ear, keep that out of my biz.
Okay, ludicrous.
MVP.
Dude, we didn't talk about this either, but we might have
we
to
are
do
now.
a show coming up where we just like pick, because I think especially like you bringing up the Bills, like they're interested in with fantasy football too. Like I think we should talk about like who we think's gonna like be that playmaker on offense in that skill position for some of those.
Oh,
teams,
I absolutely
like
want to do a
Bills.
fantasy breakdown.
You
Well,
don't
just
have to do like a
Because
full
we got two or three.
deep
We got two or
fantasy,
three
but
things
maybe just
still
like
before football
an
starts.
impact player for each team on the offense that we think's going to get a lot of touchdowns.
I think that there's
It's going to be the vocal point.
Yeah.
I'm taking JA number 1. Ride or die.
Ride or die.
Ride or die.
You have died on that hill for
I'm
several
going to,
years now,
and I'm going to keep
you're
dying
allowed
on
to
that
do
hill.
that. I mean,
That
the
is
guy,
not a
he's-
hill I'm getting off of.
He's a beast. He's just so
I'm dug in.
turnover
I'm
prone.
dug in, Trev. I'm in my foxhole. I'm dug in. I'm holding it down. You can
Until
jump. You can
death,
jump in if you
son.
want. Otherwise,
There's room in the foxhole.
I'm throwing it down.
As long as you're a JA fan.
You know who else I'm a fan of?
give me some.
Aaron Judge.
Oh, okay.
I do-
Sucks that he wears the pinstripes.
But I just think he's such a great ambassador for the league.
I
think
can't
that,
disagree with that. He's got a great story. He's a stud.
Yeah, and he's not like a prick like a Barry Bonds or some of
sure.
these other guys that are really good. Sorry, Trev.
No,
You totally agree.
Offense taken. Yeah, he
but
definitely has that.
Dude gets fastest. He's the fastest player to ever get to 300 bombs, and I feel like it's so easy to root for him. Like I want to see him break the record. Like not like they say he's kind of the record holder now. He's not. Barry still's got 70 whatever.
Soto's been playing really good too.
Dude,
man.
they're the only two that were hitting for a little bit. Aaron Judge right now is hitting like 326. The only thing he's not up in is average because Bobby Witt Jr. is hitting 347. Dude, Bobby Witt Jr. is just one of these up and coming shortstops. I think we talked about shortstops last week about how it's kind of reminds me of like the Nomar Jeter, A-Rod, when you had all these hot shortstops.
Look at the four coming off the top right there. That's all the same era as
Yeah,
well.
fuck
They
yeah, it
were
is,
great. Those were killers, dude. All four of those dudes.
And then you got Bobby Witt hitting, 347. He's got bombs. You got Gunnar Henderson. You got all these shortstops.
Gunner's been balling out
For the
in
O's,
Baltimore,
dude.
for sure.
So you got-
he's someone to keep your eye on.
You got all these shortstops that are cool, but fastest player to 300. He did it in 955 games. The next player is Ralph Kiner. I have no idea who that is. He did it in 1,087 games.
All right.
Ryan Howard, remember big Ryan Howard for the Phillies?
Yeah.
He did it in 1,093
Yeah, no, he was a phenom.
games.
He was a phenom in his younger age.
And Juan Gonzalez. Remember Juan Gon,
Yes.
baby? For the Rangers? He
Of
did it in
course.
1,096.
Of course,
So
I had to watch him ding a bunch
I
against
did
the
too.
Mariners.
Dude, I saw him hit one in when I was at a game in Oakland.
Nice.
Hit a fucking monster shot, dude. Yeah.
There's nothing better than watching that motherfucker go over the fence. I mean, you want it to be your home team, obviously, but like a home run is fucking cool to see. Like,
Always exciting.
Yeah. Especially when you get multiple dingers. Like, that is the one thing I didn't get when I saw my game. I know you've been to two now. Did you get any dingers in either one?
Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah.
My boy, Rooker, fucking first at bat, I even sat there and told Angelique, I said, Rooker's going to hit it out. And he fucking hit it out. I said, I fucking told you. I was
Beautiful.
stoked. That wasn't the game that she made me miss the baseball. That was the other one. But that's here nor there. There's another cool story I saw for baseball. White Sox are going to lower their ticket prices for next year by 10% because they suck so bad. I'll do a cheers to the White Sox for that. That's awesome.
Hey, yeah.
Not like my fucking A's. Fucking raise your fucking ticket prices after you fucking dropped everybody.
I mean, it's nice. Show the fans some love. Get them out there. Get some support. Build that thing back up.
Dude, because the White Sox, they got a pretty historic franchise. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. They're one of the OG franchises.
But they're not like they're not like shitty. They've actually won the chip. You know what I'm saying? They're not like
they have some iconic teams.
Yeah.
They have some perfect games under their belts. Like,
dude,
no.
remember Frank Thomas, Robin Ventura.
The Big Hurt, baby.
Dude, then they won those series. Remember, they got that one. Did they get 2?
No, they only got the one. They got close to the second one. They were almost went back to back.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And then they lost in the AL. That was when they lost in the ALCS to the Tigers, and that's when the Tigers made the World Series.
Yeah, that was.
And then Miggy lost it.
Dude, that's Verlander and Scherzer on that staff, dude.
Prime. Whew.
Dude, that's when those dudes were touching hundos.
Man. Oh, speaking of 100, did we talk about that fucking 1407 that Aroldis Chapman sat that dude down with? No, this is like 2 weeks out now. I know, but like that was the nastiest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. You barely see that ball before you hear the catcher's mitt.
Did you see the guy he sat down?
Oh, it was Soto. Oh, no, it was Machado. It was Machado. Yeah.
Good.
He laughed at it.
I'm glad he sat down with Machado. Don't even. He's on
sure.
my
I've
shit
never
list.
been a Manny guy.
If you guys want to put him
he's
up
a
there,
whiner.
He's definitely on
I don't
the
know if I
fucking
put him
shit
on a
list.
shit list,
Oh,
but
he's
he's
on
a
my shit
whiner.
list.
He is a whiner.
That's one dude in baseball.
But
that
yeah, he just dude the snap of the glove. Oh my lord! If you can hear it from a camera, like, could you imagine what that sounded live? It sounded like his hand was breaking. Whack! Like,
sound.
Chapman is not young. He's been in the league now for a solid 10, 12 years.
He's a what?
He's
POS.
Okay, so he's a shit lister.
Oh, dude, he's done like.
He was also kind of a piece of shit, right? Like I was gonna.
Beater.
Yeah, no, that's shit list material. Period.
He's a woman beater.
That's right.
Sure.
He got suspended for it, I believe. Right? Yeah.
He's a piece of shit.
That's piece of shit material. I'm sorry. That to me is inexcusable.
I don't know why I thought of this. I was thinking of Verlander and Scherzer. You know who's the OG of these dudes that just bring it? Like, because I love watching Chris Sale pitch. I love watching Scherzer pitch. Nope. You know how they're kind of different? Randy freaking Johnson.
Yeah, the big unit.
Remember his wind-up? Because it wasn't over the top, dude. RJ's amazing, dude.
I got to see, the best, the Kingdom, 1995. It was amazing, dude. I got to see Alex Rodriguez, Ken Griffey Jr., Jay Buhner, Dan Wilson, Edgar Martinez, Tino Martinez.
Edgar Martinez, fuck yeah, DH'er.
Yeah, bro, we had the team, and we still didn't do anything, but
that was the year you guys lost.
And the big unit, I got to watch him pitch.
Isn't that the year you lost in the?
It was the DS. We didn't.
Yeah,
we didn't even make.
Because you guys were the hot favorite.
Yeah, no, we should have been. We were stacked to the fucking gills, and we were.
Buhner had an arm from right field.
Oh my god, Buhner Buzz Day, dude! Shout out. So okay, here's a little fandom, if you will, in the middle of the fucking pod. Is that I think it was once a month. Or once every couple of months, something like that. They would call a Buhner Buzz Day, and if you let the entrance gate shave your head, you'd get in for free.
No way.
Yeah,
dude, that's fucking
I already had a bald head, so I didn't have any hair as a kid. So basically, I got a haircut for free. And they let us in, and my dad paid for a ticket. So because it would just be me and him. Yeah. So we'd go to Mariners games. Like we'd get four or five free Mariners games a year, and then we'd also just go and see the matchups. I saw a shitload of Mariners games as a kid. It's why I was so fucking nostalgic going into Safeco. God damn it, T-Mobile. I wish it was still.
Kind of sucks that baseball's kind of taken a back seat, honestly, to the other sports. Like
it has in the social consciousness. No, not kind of has. Downey, you're you're.
I know. I don't know. It has, and it just sucks because, think about how much baseball we all used to watch. We used to go to the Mariner games. How many Giants in baseball back in the day? All we paid attention to was baseball.
Well, I was also a fucking diehard NBA fan, but bring the fucking Sonics back.
But I mean, definitely that. I mean, that was the first sport I played growing up.
Fuck, it was.
Absolutely. Not even close, for sure. You picked up a mitt and a ball. It was easy. A mitt and a ball. It's all you needed.
Still got the Wigglies for it now.
Look at his shirt. Look at the homeboy shirt. Show it off.
We got to pour this up. Zach's pouring it up.
Yeah, we got it.
Baseball, and if you can't see it, but it almost looks like it's a connected
glove,
dots.
baby. It is. Yeah, absolutely. It gives down. It's a what are they called? That's a schematic. That's a schematic, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Yeah. That's a breakdown of a baseball glove. That's dope as shit.
Love me some baseball. That usually, now that I lost the Food Network, it's usually MLB channel
I'll-
or like my A's on. Like
I'll tell
I
you,
always
Downey,
have the MLB channel on.
Since my Mariners have started really competing, my love for baseball has come back
Are you-
immensely. Even if we miss out on the postseason this year,
Where are you at right now?
I
don't
didn't
have
look
it
it
in
up
front of me.
today.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. I meant to, and then I was so busy at work, like I didn't get to. But like we were a half game back the last time I checked, but that was like 4 days ago, which means we could have played 2 or 3
Give
games.
me 2 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to know that. The AL West is because only the winner's going to get in for that division.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
the rest of the AL is fucking nasty. Dude.
So right
AL,
now
right?
Seattle is
Pour
No,
that up
oh,
there so we
that-
can do some cheers.
That's tough. What is it?
3 games back from Houston.
Okay, so then it's been a bit since I've opened that up. Yeah,
You know my A's have the best record since July 1st? Just for shits and giggles.
We've been
Um,
doing a
Bets,
solid amount of losing.
I think they covered for the season.
3 and
Oh,
a
they have
half.
those.
Yeah, they did. 3.5 back in the wild card, brother. So you're 3 back in both. That's rough. You guys got to. Oh,
Yeah, I know,
come
not-
on.
not good this
I
time.
do. I would rather have you guys in than Seattle. And
What are you
definitely
talking
the-
about? I'm Seattle.
Are you than the Astros or the
I
Twins?
am Seattle.
I'm not a
I will
Twins-
say that. Like,
not a
I
Twins guy
bleed
either.
Seattle. I have a Sonics tattoo. Like, there is. I don't have ties to the city so much at this point as I do love Reno schematically, but as far as new beer.
Cheers, boys.
Sorry, juicy little thing, baby. Sierra Nevada. Shout out Chico. What's it drink at? 6.5. 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah, I got to drink.
This is a
that.
good one. I've had this one before. I like juicy little thing.
So from a West Coast to a
Hazy.
juicy, that is nice.
It's very nice.
Yeah, but it's not overly juicy, but it does give you that right amount. I like that. Shout out to your Little Thing series, Nevada,
Yep.
Sierra Nevada is pretty much worthwhile. There's only a few that are like schmeh, but like there's some really fucking good ones.
Trev, you're only 3.5 out too, brother.
Hey
I
now.
know. Logan
Hey
Webb
now.
just had a game the other day.
See-
And you guys are only at 500 fucking baseball.
NL baby. The top of the NL's thick. The bottom of the NL's bad.
Dude, you got Dodgers and Phillies are playing pretty well right now. Padres made hold on, let me check that. Where's the Padres at? Padres were making that run on the last pod, remember?
They have.
Padres have been so Arizona technically is in second. They're both 2 back from the Dodgers. Arizona must have the tiebreaker. Dude, Arizona making a run too,
Yeah,
man.
they've been slaying the last little bit for sure.
Fucking Brewers. Dude,
Oh,
I just love it, dude.
yeah.
They just always be fucking no fucking
I'm
cap,
fine, yeah,
or
yeah.
no, not a big payroll. Always fucking getting dubs.
Dibs. All right, but dude, I'll tell you, I was gonna say, I think my favorite throwback logo / hat of all time is the swinging monk from the San Diego. It's so
I don't know,
good.
dude. I love
It's
that.
so good.
I love that yellow and blue Brewers hat with
The mitt.
well, it's an M and a B, but it looks like a mitt. with
It's a
flashing
mitt.
light. Yeah, but it's an M and a B.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, they'll find a way.
Yeah, you gotta look at it. It's an M and a B. It makes a mitt.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not, but it's a mitt.
I love that one. I think that one's badass.
No,
I
I
obviously
that's
think
iconic.
I think all the
just
A shit's
love-
cool because
I
you
just
get Kelly
love that
Green.
swinging fucking Padre, the priest. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I think it's so dope that was a part of baseball. Like,
Let's take a break and we'll jump back into the AFC West.
oh, dude, the best division.
Or
The West
West,
is the
the
best
division- West-
all
West
together.
anyway, all West.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll see you soon.
I'm blowing some minds. Welcome back to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, gents.
Yes.
That's a smooth brewski, man.
Same beer for the moment that we just ended on. So let's roll over our weekly division. We're on our last. The West Coast is the best coast, baby. This closes out our division preview, or I guess a recap, if you will.
Recap.
Yeah.
Or we'll pick.
Finals soon.
We'll have to pick winners next week, Chuck, because you won't be here the week after that. So we're gonna need to pick. So next week, be prepared for division winners. Our 7 playoff teams for each division, and let's each throw some MVPs and some rookies and some shit like that out too.
I'm gonna
End of year.
dial in some fantasy. It's gonna be an NFL pod, basically. Next week is gonna be fucking
Yeah.
heavy NFL pod.
Because all we'll touch on in the front half is maybe some baseball updates. Obviously, any big news in football, injuries or trades or signings, we try to get that out of the way right off the front. And then we'd be all about who we're taking and why we're taking them. So let's start in the West, AFC West. Excuse me. Sorry. Let's go. The 4 teams are Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Chuck, why don't you start off? Throw me a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Trev, and then I'll go last.
Brother, honestly, you're going to like – well, I don't know. It depends on the total record. KC, Kansas City, Las Vegas, LA Chargers, Denver at the bottom. And I think the reason being Herbert is already –
How the fuck are we on the same fucking page?
Well, because Herbert is not dialed in. He hasn't been able to dial. He's got his plantar fasciitis, which everybody knows is a lingering issue. Even if he can make it back for game 1, you're still holding your breath every time he's out there.
Did they lose a receiver?
They lost both the receivers, Keenan Allen.
No.
Did they
like this year in
Did
injury or whatever.
one of them get hurt? Did Palmer get?
Chiefs just lost Hollywood. We didn't talk about that.
That's right. Good call, Trev. I forgot.
That was
Hollywood
a big
Brown. Did
injury.
you see
4 to 5 weeks?
4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Did Palmer get hurt or late? Because it's Palmer, Ladd, and then who's the? Did one of those guys get hurt or something? Maybe not. Okay. So sorry, Charlie. Explain it out.
Yeah.
Or your explanation.
I mean, obviously, KC easy number 1. I just think normally okay. Every team Harbaugh has gone to has at least +3 every time he's gotten there. They were 5-12 last year, right?
Yep,
something like that. So they're going to be pushing for 8 and 9-ish, maybe. But like, I think that this roster is better than that overall. Drafting Joe Alt, I think, was a good move. Like, your running back room is a bunch of guys that are from the Ravens that need to stay healthy. Very weird. Ladd McConkey looks pretty good, but he can't be the only dude. Like,
you got like 3.
So honestly,
Quentin Johnson's our other starter supposely.
Yeah, Mr. Hands of Stone, which is a good nickname in boxing, but not in football. So that's why, unfortunately, but Herbert, honestly, Herbert could will this team in front of Las Vegas because for some reason the Raiders have this poor mojo about them. But I think that narrative might be turning. I think that Antonio Pierce is going to come in, and from what I've been reading, even the headlines, the outside headlines have been like, you had to remove Max Crosby from the practice field because he was killing too many plays. They couldn't get enough. Yeah.
But he's actually been battling with the right tackle, Glaze.
I love that, dude.
Glaze
iron
has been
iron, iron, baby.
The kid that we just took. He's been actually, and they've been playing. He's been playing him pretty well. So Max Crosby has been, they look good last week. I'll say they look good. The first string and second string look good.
All right, but yeah, that Trev, what you got?
Obviously, the Chiefs in 1, and
Broncos
gotta give
2.
it to them. I'm going LA.
Oh, okay.
I just look at that division, and that division's tough, and Kansas City, obviously. And then
I don't like it. But it is what it is.
I think the Chargers are going to end up. I don't care about the plantar fasciitis. They have the second best coach and second best quarterback in that division.
Oh, in the division. Okay. Second best coach. I know. Okay, he has proven at the NFL level. He has.
Yes,
he has.
It's not arguable.
I agree.
Like.
He's been to a Super Bowl.
So I just feel like That's why I got to go Chargers for my number 2. 3 and 4 are pretty close to me because I like the moves that the Raiders have made. I thought their team has gotten better, but I feel like they're the weakest at the most important position in this division.
Quarterback.
Yes. I think, again, it's neck and neck because I feel like Bo Nix might be that guy for Sean Payton, and that's going to...
Put it on wax, Trev. Come on, what you got? Come on, 3 and 4.
I'm gonna give it to the Raiders.
Let it bang, bang, bang.
It's like a game difference. I feel like.
Oh man, okay, all right. Zach, you gonna put the Raiders at number 1?
No, I'm gonna put them at 2. I'm not ridiculous.
I appreciate that.
KC's obviously there. It just depends. There is some big losses. Brown being out, can you pull off another season where your receivers suck? I mean, they were awful last year. Kelsey carried it. They had a lot of good defense, but you also lost Snead, lockdown corner. When you can lock down half a field, it's a little different. So it's going to be interesting to see the loss of Snead and to see if these receivers can not be very underwhelming and them still be this good. I still have them at 1. Obviously, I have Raiders at 2. I think the roster, the defense is going to be real tough. They're going to be good, and their skill positions are good. It's all about what happens at behind center, and I got faith that AOC or Minshew.
Honestly, I have been a Minshew defender, and it bothers me because he's a Cougar. But the dude just goes out there and he plays football. Just he has fun, but he's aggressive.
That's the difference. So O'Connell's more of the
steady the ship.
Yeah, where maybe not have the big plays.
Minshew's let it rip, brother.
But there's also there's some negative with that big. So I also think that the Raiders roster is better than the Chargers and the Broncos roster.
Top to bottom, I would agree with that.
And even in some of the starting, I know the quarterback isn't there, but skill position.
Max Crosby alone changes that team.
The defense is, I think, one of the better ones in the division as well.
I would agree with that.
I think it's going to be, and I think if
they were starting to play really good at the end of last year. And I think if
one of these rookies, either the kid from last year, the second-year kid from last year out of Maryland, or one of these rookies steps up, and you can get like Nate Hobbs, he's steady. I still think we need I still would have rather had an outside guy and keep him in the middle. And our safeties are very steady as well. We have good. I think our defense is maybe pushing top 5 in the NFL this year, depending on that other corner. And I think our offense has got the skill positions. It's now what if the O-line can hold and what the quarterback position do. And I think the Chargers are over the Broncos easily, and I think the Broncos have one of the I think their roster is just not very good.
Just run tight end crosses with Mayer and Bowers everywhere in just different formations. Just have them run drags forever.
I bet Bowers
they'll get separation and be able to beat motherfuckers.
Bowers is going to be coming out of the fullback position.
Really?
He's going to be, because that's where he lined up at Georgia, and they said they're going to use him almost like that. We're our 12. We're going to run 12. We're going to run 2 tight end set a lot.
The only
probably the heaviest, I would assume.
And Luke ran it a lot last year.
That's where the benefit is. That's where your highest.
And then you put Jacoby and
because you can run out of that too. Right? Well, you can run out of that.
And our running backs I think our running back room is going to be stronger.
Zamir White, right?
I think Zamir White and Madison from the Vikings.
As long as he's the 2.
Yep,
we've had this discussion.
He's the 2, and then I think with Amir Andula and then the rookie kid that we took,
he's your special teamer.
But he's going to come out. I bet he catches a ton of passes this year. I think he's going to be
You think you truly play 4 running backs?
I think Amir takes a backseat to the other kid.
Okay, so
I bet the other kid ends up catching a lot more balls. I think Amir maybe takes a backseat.
He's going to be special teamers, and he is not a bad guy to have on a roster, to be fair.
Yeah. So I know we're like maybe 4th in quarterback at this point, maybe. But I still think our roster, and I know you, but I think if you look roster up and down when we go through this here in a minute.
No, I would say roster up and down, agreed. But so let's get into that then. We've all made our predictions.
All right, let's start with the Chiefs roster.
We might as well, right?
Obviously, quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. Backup
that's their roster. Stop. Let's move on to the next team.
Backup is Carson Wentz, which is interesting.
Who almost sprained his shit on the walk to practice. Good job.
Running back room, you got Isaiah Pacheco. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which has kind of been.
No, yeah, they're saying he might. At one point, it was a worry if he was going to make this team or whatever. But I don't know, man. Looking at the rest of their RBs, I don't know. I'm keeping
Rashid Rice, the problem child. Marquise Brown, who's hurt. Xavier Worthy, and then you got Tooney, who's nothing. Sky Moore's been underwhelming, and Watson and Justin Ross. Hardman drops a lot of balls. So, underwhelming receiver core.
I mean, did it matter last year until it mattered? When it mattered, they caught everything. It was crazy.
I mean,
Chiefs.
It feels like they're putting a lot on Worthy this season with Hollywood Brown's injury. And I feel like Travis started to take a step back last year, too. So if that continues, they're going to be in the thick of it trying to win that division.
Because everybody's also going to try to kick your ass every time you come out, too. You're
always
getting everybody's best shot.
You're the defending champs. Everybody's hyped the fuck up, whether they're coming to your stadium or whether you're coming to theirs.
But their tight ends are sick. You do have Kelsey and Noah Gray, who came on last year.
He can play, too,
Jared Wiley out of TCU, they drafted.
Oh, I liked him, too.
Yeah. No,
and they got Irv Smith Jr., so they're tight end.
That's a tight end.
They're going to run some double. They're going to compete with the Raiders for most doubles.
Probably.
Just run the drags, baby.
Why wouldn't you, dude? I would.
Just run the drags, dude. Run flyers with Devontae, and you got to throw them one every somewhat,
Well, yeah, you're going to end up with one-on-ones if you got these tight ends that are blowing apart.
Dragging. Just burning up rubber 3 to 5 yards from the fucking line of scrimmage, dude. Absolutely.
They're off to the line suspect, too. You got Kingsley the kid from BYU this year. They have him starting as a left tackle. Joe Thuney's pretty good. Creed Humphrey.
Very good. Creed Humphrey's very good.
Right. So up the middle, you're about Trey Smith, So-So, and Jawan Taylor is been.
Honestly, I'm not bad with that line. It's not amazing, but when you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes, that is plenty of a good enough line.
You just got to
Yeah,
hope that
absolutely.
you got to hope that rookie left tackle holds up. That's where you're.
Yeah, anytime you put, you gotta hope a left tackle holds up. Period. That's a fucking vital.
And they've always
position
done a pretty good job drafting.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes and no. In the Reed era, it's been pretty okay recently. Like, that's obviously how they've built their team, to be fair. Like,
defensively, they got George Kalafis out of Purdue. He's been a stud since they've drafted him.
Very well, yeah.
Obviously, they got Chris Jones at one of the defensive tackles, Derek Ndai at another defensive tackle. End-wise, they drafted the kid out of KC. He's the second stringer, the Felix. Yeah, you're not going to go with it. And then starting, you have Mike Adana, which I don't know much about.
And Duke Uzma.
Good job.
Uzma, yeah.
And
Uzma.
Charles
Uzma.
Amenu is
Jesus, I
out
did
because
burst
he's
out,
hurt.
I'm sorry.
Remember, he's supposed to be starting at that side.
No,
Is he out all year?
I don't think so. But it's possible. What, did he hurt?
Remember, he hurt his knee at the end of the year, right? Didn't
Oh, yeah, that's right. Maybe then.
Linebacker-wise, they're pretty solid. Drew Tranquil's all over the place every time.
Sideline to sideline.
Nick Bolton, and then you got Leo Chanel, the kid out of Wisconsin last year.
Bolton's sneaky good.
Dude,
I don't like how good he is.
Their linebacking core is actually really good if you look
I
at
don't like
it.
how can we cancel the Chiefs? Can we find a way to just not let them get the playoffs this year?
Cornerback, they're pretty good. Trent McDuffie,
Come on.
He's a stud out of
I
Washington.
vote for that. Yeah, McDuffie,
Joshua Williams on the other side, Cook and Reed up the middle, and then Connors their nickelback. So
stacked there.
we'll see if loss of Snead hurts. That does
hurt, but I think their back end
that's
that
a big
you
one.
just named is better than anything that you just named up front, other than Chris Jones. Oh, Carl Loftus is a beast too. If they play well together as they have been, then the rest of the team will be fine. Defensively, I would think. Good linebackers. I don't know. Good secondary too. Fuck. Is Spags still there?
Yep.
Still Spagnola? Why would he leave? I guess you've been winning chips. And to be fair, their defense took a big step forward last year. Now, the loss of Snead could very well be a big thing. You don't know what the loss of a shutdown
Lockdown corner, man. Underrated.
I don't know. I think that he was kind of finally starting to get the smoke around him that he deserved last year. That's why he was a big trade candidate this year, right?
Yeah, big signing in the offseason. Or, yeah, they traded and then had to get
They had to trade, and it was a trade and sign, yeah. So, I mean, smart by KC, knowing that they didn't have the money necessarily to give that. Fucking money in the NFL has gone absolutely insane. 35 for Justin Jefferson. And if Lamb turned down 33, that's
just under 33.
That's
they said.
fucking bonkers. What, 32.8?
I don't know. They
Good
didn't tell me.
Lord. They didn't tell me. Yeah, well, good, because the Cowboys shouldn't tell anybody anything.
You want to go Chargers next?
Chargers.
Los Angeles Chargers.
Sure.
Obviously, quarterback, you're a stud at Justin Herbert. But if you're not able to play, you got Easton Stick and Max Duggan, which ain't much backup.
That's a big fall.
Duggan has no arm. He's athletic. He's got no arm.
Running back wise, nothing impressive. Gus Edwards, J.K. can't stay healthy. Dobbins.
For a running team, that's pretty worrisome.
Isaiah Spiller. Not terrible.
I don't even see it. He's not even on my list of the depth chart. Jared Patterson and Camila Vidal. I don't know. That's not a very impressive running back room. And I can't believe I thought they were easily going to take one of the better backs in the draft. I just did. I was like, man, you got to draft. And then they didn't. I was like, that's a miss. Receiver room is scary.
Yeah.
Joshua Palmer, Lad McConkey, DJ been on 1000 teams, Chalk Jr., Quentin Stonehands Johnson, and Brendan Rice out of USC.
Rice.
He has a real shot at catching some balls this year, dude.
With that receiving room?
He has a real shot to get on the field and make some differences.
I used to drink that DJ Chalk Jr. Kool-Aid.
Chark. He's got an R there. It's Chark.
I used to drink that Kool-Aid.
He had a moment where he was extremely
He
explosive.
can't stay healthy.
Well, and he only had One catch a game.
Yeah.
It was either really good or like 4 yards.
Yeah, boom or bust.
Like, yeah, it's big time. The definition of it. Like,
Seen plenty of those guys in fantasy football.
hey now. But when they boom, baby, oh, it's so nice.
A tight end room isn't very outstanding.
No.
It's
You got-
quarterback and offensive line.
You got Will Disley, who's kind of dizzy from being up in Seattle. Hayden
Pardon me.
Hurst, who's not really been much. And then that's kind of where it ends.
1-2. Shout out to my boy Dis, bro. Go out there and ball. I'm all for that.
I think he's gonna with these skill positions.
He has hands and he can block. We rotated so many tight ends, nobody really got their feet under them. Like, I honestly think, like, and I don't want to tell the world this, but I've been preaching this to my pops. I think Noah Fant's gonna fucking ball this year. He's going to be featured in a pass-heavy Ryan Grubbs offense who used Westover to fucking great extent in college. Now, granted, schemes can be different and things can get figured out, but I think Noah Fant's going to be a top 10 TE.
I mean,
Keep that for your section.
after hearing that, though,
It is
this
in my
is
section.
definitely the
Over here, right here.
lowest
It's the lowest.
skill position for an offense.
It's not
in the
good.
grouping. It's not good. Like,
That did kind of hurt reading all of those names. I was just like,
not
eh.
impressive at all.
I'm not
Herbert
drafting any of those guys in
is the
fantasy.
only
Not
one.
a single one.
If he's healthy, I
Not a
think
single one.
he's good enough to make that good enough, but it is not pretty.
Your offensive line, obviously, you have Slater, who's had one good year and then got hurt the next year. Zion Johnson played pretty good last year out of BC. Bradley Bozeman, Trey Pickens, and then obviously you got the rookie Joe Alt on the
Alt.
right side. So it should be an up and coming. You should have three really good. I'm not really sure about Bozeman up the middle or Trey Pickens, but the other three should be pretty good.
Yeah, solid line.
Defensively, Chuck just finished his brew char.
Damn, I really got to play catch up. My bad.
And see, defensively too, there's nothing that jumps out defensively either. Honestly,
Hey now, don't show
Bosa.
your guy.
you got Bosa,
Not even Bosa.
you got Tula Tulupu, who the kid out of USC was pretty outstanding last year.
they just drafted, but you don't know.
Khalil
No,
Mack.
Derwin James is still there, right?
Derwin
Yeah, but Derwin
is
James
still-
never healthy.
He
When's
isn't.
he played?
What's your
when's he played
what's your
14?
best ability? Derwin James.
When's
he
he
ain't
play-
never on.
he's like 12 games. He doesn't play even close. So okay, you got Morgan Fox on one end. Your nose tackle is Ogabagnu. Pona Ford is your other end. Then you go linebacker wise is Bosa and Tula Tupa, the kid out of SC from last year. He had a really good year.
He did.
And then you got Henny in the middle. That kid was he Washington State? Perryman, who's only running linebacker because he was on the Raiders. He gets lots of tackles. But he's definitely not good in coverage.
He's a 1 or 2 down back for
100%, Charlie. Khalil Mack, and backing up Khalil Mack is Bud Dupree.
Khalil Mack, though, he had
a
like
really
over
good-
20 sacks last season. He led the league.
Not over 20.
Dude, it was high. It was
high, but I don't think
I
over
think
20.
he had like 16 and a half.
16
something
and a
like
half?
that. 16 and a
I
half,
don't have numbers
17.
in
I
front of
was
me.
definitely
He
not
was
20.
leading the league
No,
for
he
a
was
while.
smashing on
No,
some
he had a
goals
really
for
good year
sure.
last year.
No, absolutely.
That was classic Mac.
classic Mac. Return of the Mac.
So I mean, defensively, it's not bad, but it's
No, it's not good neither. This
Bose
team
is getting old, and Bose hasn't played a
That's-
full year.
Okay.
Mack's getting older, but I mean, Asante Samuel at
Junior
corner.
is old. He's
No,
playing pretty good.
He's
Wait,
not old. No, he's only like in
Yes.
his 4th or 5th year.
Derwin
he's
James
young.
is great when he's on the field, and then Kristen Fuller is really good. So their corners aren't bad.
Right. No, if all of those guys stay healthy, that's a good secondary. But that's a big caveat. That's a big if.
You have Jazeer Taylor as your nickel and Gilman as the safety of your other free safety. So but it's always about whether or not Derwin stays healthy.
In that back end, for sure.
So I mean, it's defensively,
It's not great. It's not great. That team has a hill to climb, which is
find
why
it
I put them in 3rd, because I still think they're better than the team that we're about to review, which is going to be the Broncos, right? 'Cause
Correct.
We'll
Did
save
you-
the
did you
Raiders
find
for
it?
last.
Okay.
No. Did you find the Khalil Mack stat?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
So keep going.
Quarterback wise for the Broncos, Bo Nix most likely starting. I've seen a lot of positive things, honestly, about Zach Wilson though, coming out. Maybe
Tell me some positives about Zach Wilson.
Well, maybe Peyton. I've just read that he's had like a pretty positive camp. Maybe Sean
Yeah.
Payton's like something nice. I'm not saying he's ever going to start, but maybe he gets him to be a pretty positive back. Kid's
don't-
athletic. He's just a dumbass.
Khalil Mack, 17 sacks.
I was close. I said 16.5. I was a half sack off.
I got there.
Jared
Gotta
Stidham
finish
is your second string right now. They
Yeah,
say.
well, I do think at this point, Broncos just start Nix. Do you know what Stidham is? And Nix had 61 starts in college, 62, something like that.
He's looking better in the preseason.
No, yeah, exactly. It's not like this kid hasn't played football. Like, he played many years of football.
He hasn't looked worse than the other two quarterbacks, so you know he's drafted to be the future. You might as well just
And he's
put him out there.
got better legs. Like, even though he's played a shitload of games, like, just play Nix. Just play Nix.
Running back wise, Javonte Williams, he's okay here and there. Samaje
He
P.
had a great rookie year and then
Yeah.
an injury riddled last year.
Samaje P. Ryan, he's past his prime.
He's a pass catcher, though.
Jaleel
Good pass
McLaughlin, he should be the number 2, I'm guessing.
Yes, I agree. He came up big. He could, in theory, work into 1. He could be the 1. He was starting to play better than Williams last year.
And then hold on, I'm pouring a beer so I can't read the. Oh yeah, didn't they draft Audric Eston this year or was that last year?
I could not tell you, to be fair.
So their running back room is not great either. Cortland, not proven, I guess. Cortland Sutton.
Oh yeah, Steam was this year 20 years old. He's a fucking baby.
Yeah. Receiver room, Cortland Sutton I think is kind of overrated. Marvin Mims is a second or third year. Tim Patrick backs him up. Josh Reynolds came over from.
I don't think Cortland Sutton, the Lions. I don't think Cortland Sutton is underrated. I think he's never had a quarterback.
No, I didn't say underrated. I say
or overrated. Yeah, no, I don't think he's over. I don't think he's ever had a quarterback.
But they do have Troy Franklin backing him up. I would think that Troy Franklin
He's going to
would
get
be,
some touches.
I think he'd be more of a starter with the relationship with him and Bo.
That's
man.
why they drafted him. No, he will. He'll be your slot. He'll be your 3.
Tim Patrick's always hurt.
He's popped at times though when he was healthy.
Yeah, he's had
Well,
good
yeah,
stuff.
no, and he's injured himself the last 2 years consecutively.
Did Marvin
It's been
Mims
tough.
do much last year? Kid out of
No, and
Oklahoma.
that's another
He
kid who
didn't.
should be fucking legit. If you look at their wide receiver room, it should be good.
Pour that fucking beer.
You know
so
what,
cheers.
man? Don't
It's
be
a cider.
giving me no shit. Exactly.
well-
Thank you.
Still want to cheers something.
Cheers it. Cheers it.
Tight end wise, Adam Troutman's okay. Greg Dulcich is okay. So,
Dulcich can play, man.
and then line wise,
Tough.
Garrett Bowles, Ben Powers on your left side, Luke Wattenberg up the middle, Mike McClinchy on your right tackle, and Quinn
They
Perez.
overpaid the fuck for him. Like,
I think their offensive line isn't actually. Their offensive line's like mid to less, right?
Yeah.
I would say right, which is exactly why
That's why I think we all have them
4.
in last.
They're 4. Yeah. They also, I don't know if I have any faith in Sean Payton anymore. I don't know if
Has he gone
is,
Gruden?
Exactly.
I don't-
Is he just the dude that once was? We're gonna cheers.
I mean, he was only out for 1 year. It wasn't like he was out for 10 like Gruden. Cheers, boys.
I will.
I don't
agree
know
with
if we
that as
put
well.
all
Look
that
look
on
this
freaking
cherry
Russell
ass
Wilson,
cider.
Sean Payton. I'm interested to see what it'll look like with Knicks in there.
Huh.
It was more subtle than I always thought. I thought it was
Me
going
too.
to be like a little bit more
that.
pucker. Or
I
a
like
bit
that
more.
a whole lot, though.
Yeah?
Tasty.
Yes.
I was waiting for it to be more cherry, I thought.
You don't think that?
I think that's pretty cherry.
Me too. I was gonna say,
just
especially
had a
the back
candy.
end. Yeah. Okay. That's true
I
too.
love me some cherry.
Yeah, agreed. It is definitely
good.
one of my favorite flavors for sure, or fruits as
So this
it were.
Same.
this is what are we drinking here, Charlie? Talk to us.
Teton Cider Works, baby. Straight out of Washington.
Two?
Yakima.
For
two
two.
for two. Yeah. Yeah. This is their cherry version, and as you can see, it's a cherry.
It's red.
That's beautiful. No, that's a beautiful color for sure.
Excuse me.
And it drinks at a 6.5. So I mean, you know,
6'5", 6'5",
semi-sweet. Yeah, so it's a semi-sweet. Very heavy on the cherry, honestly, for me. I almost get no apples. I definitely just drink.
I'm way more cherry than
Yeah.
apple.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's obviously what they were going for
Yeah.
based off of the color of the. So,
Cherry cider.
shout out to not only hitting those notes pretty well, but fucking Teton doing it. There's 2 more. There, Downey said we have
2
the
more.
availability for flavors wise. So, be sure to look those up. Get them. Go. Where'd you get them from, Z?
Ben's on 4th and Keystone.
They're sold out. We bought them all. They're never there.
They have an interesting selection of brewskis sometimes, and not ones that are in the cooler.
They've gotten better.
Not in the cooler.
They fell off for me. I haven't been in a Ben's probably in like 8 years.
I haven't either, but I went there one day, just like, and I was like, oh, Wow. And then, because the cooler's not special.
Okay, right. Yeah, you're good.
Behind on the shelves,
Sure.
dude, that's where it's all at.
It
That's
used-
where
yeah,
these
it
are
used to
at.
be the better. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where like the Mother Earths are at. They have, I mean, they're
Shout out to Mother
they're
Earth.
carrying the Mother Earths. Who's Urban
Roots.
Roots. They got them in
Roots,
there.
So good. We need to go to Sacramento.
They got a ton of cool different like selections out of the cooler. In the cooler, it's your normal shit.
Sure.
Out of the cooler, there's a lot of like, I give them props. It's way better than it ever was that I can remember.
So, we are now queuing into
Broncos defense.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we gotta finish that
Damn,
out.
I'm so sorry. I was hoping that we were
You
going to
were
get on the
almost
Raiders.
there.
No, I know. I wanted to be past these Broncos.
Defensively, it's not real impressive either. You got Zach
No.
Allen on the one end, DJ Jones up
he's
the
good.
middle,
He's good.
John Franklin Myers on the other end, Baron Browning is your one-year linebacker. Alex Singleton's getting old.
Yeah.
Cody Barton is your other linebacker, and then your
He's
fourth
in Denver?
linebacker is Jonathan
He only
Cooper.
lasted 1 year in a Commander's uniform.
Yep, and then Jonathan Cooper is your other linebacker. So, not necessarily impressive. The back end,
Back
starting
end.
with Patrick Surtain as a
There you
stud. Your other corner is Darren Mathis. Your nickel is Jawan McMillan. And your safeties are PJ Locker and Brandon Jones. So
Not a
Surtain
terrible back end.
obviously holds the back end up a lot higher than than it really could be. But with him, like we said, shutting down a side is a different situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
if he could take away your number one.
He's also
keeps you
just
in
a very handsy guy. So there are games though where he will give it away. It's very much like the Sherman-esque style of play where you test the refs to see what they'll let you get away with. You get a couple flags and then boom, you pop a play and you're returning one. Like it's just how those guys work, man. It's all of the best test the umps, right? Or the refs. Like see what they're gonna call because every team calls things just a little differently. Like what can you get away with? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Fandom.
So we'll go the Raiders. We'll go the Raiders next. Quarterback is Minshew and O'Connell, depending on what happens. Running back wise, you got Zamir White.
That's the most love to
Yes.
the intro of the Raiders you're gonna give right there.
just
That's
being-
as excited
I'm
as
being
you
neutral,
are.
brother.
I'm being-
Being neutral, brother. Zamir White, Alexander Madison, Amir Abdullah, and then Dylan Laub. I think Laub jumps Abdullah. I think he ends up becoming that third down back, the pass catcher that comes out of the backfield.
If
for
Zamir
sure.
White takes that step forward from last year, because he showed some pops.
Well, even his rookie year, every game, because he didn't play. Is
he a third-year player? I thought
second.
last year was his rookie year.
No, second. Nope, because this is third year.
Third year, okay.
Because every time that Jacobs played, Jacobs took all the handoffs.
He
But
was
when Jacobs
he's
got
a
hurt,
volume back.
when Jacobs got hurt, every time Zamir came in, it was good. Like he ran for a lot of yards in all the games he came in. So I don't think much of a drop off. And I love the kid, the third down back. I think Dylan's going to be one of those kids that comes out and you're like, oh shit, he's in the game. You're going to have to put like a safety on him. He's going to have to be somebody you're going to have to watch out for later on. Wide receiver wise, obviously you have Devontae, Jacoby Myers, and Trey Tucker. And then 4, you got DJ Turner, who's the speed guy. I think our wide receivers, obviously the top 2 are really good. Trey Tucker needs to come on, and then DJ is just the guy that's going to run a 9, and he's going to try to blow by you.
He's the Mac Hollins guy.
Yeah, he's just like
He's running streaks, and every now and again you'll toss him.
right.
one.
If you leave him open, or if you miss safety, he's probably going to take top off. That's all he's going to do. He'd probably be a special teams kick returner maybe too, especially with the new rules.
But honestly, you can't undersell those potential 3 to 4 game-breaking touchdowns
Correct.
he might have.
Because he is and Trey Tucker's really fast too. I think I'm still disappointed. I can't believe nobody signed my guy, Hunter Renfrow. I still disappointed that he's not on the team. I love him. He's one of my favorite
moves
players.
so fast, dude.
But I mean, Trey Tucker's going to be that fast kid. He's super fast too. So we have Turner and Tucker both fast.
Tucker.
I like that, and I think Tucker's
Tucker
coming on.
Tom.
Trey Tucker's coming on, dude. I'm telling you. And then obviously, Rookie of the Year, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. It's coming out of his second year, so you got those 2 at tight end. Yeah, I said it. I'm staying to it. He's gonna have hella catches, hella yards. And the quarterback's gonna be like, and he's gonna be like, bam, in your face. I'm better than Puka. More touchdowns, more catches.
Puka.
More touchdowns, more catches. Brock Bowers, Rookie of the Year.
Do you realize the numbers that Puka put up last year, right?
And I'm realizing that the Brock Bowers overtaking it, Chuck. I didn't just.
You didn't stutter.
Well, I probably will when we pick. You got to pick a quarterback to win Rookie of the Year, and it's just.
Or you win Offensive Rookie of the Year, right?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Is that
it's offense and defense. You get two. Line-wise, Colton Miller's a stud. Powers Johnson will end up starting at left guard. He's just been hurt. He got a concussion, so he's been hurt for a little bit. Andre James is a really good center. Parham had a really good year. Kid out of Memphis that we drafted a couple years ago. One of Doofus Face's only good moves. And then it's between DJ Glaze and Munford at right tackle.
That's like a pretty nice insult for as bad as you could refer. That guy is a chum. Like, that guy is a pud whacker through and through, dude. Like,
one of my least.
He's a shit
people.
lister, and he's not even an NFL coach anymore. I could not stand that dude.
Defensive wise, obviously defensive MVP this year, Max Crosby.
We got a lot of awards coming to the Raiders.
John Jenkins is the other tackle along with Christian Wilkinson. That's going to be a pair and a half, especially if Kuntz keeps coming on. I was a big fan of him when he got drafted. I thought he'd take a little time, and he has, and now he's a pretty good pass rusher. Backing them up, Tyree Wilson. This is it. Like, we need him to step up. If he steps up, we have a nice.
He's only his second year, right? He was drafted number 5 overall last year.
Yeah, but
is
number 5 overall is different.
Is he healthy?
Yeah, number 5 overall is different than number 20.
I don't disagree. Number 5 is different than fucking.
We could have had Adrian Gonzalez locking shit down, or
Christian
whoever else. Christian Gonzalez. Thank you, Charlie. Linebacker wise, Diablo, Spain, and Masterson. Spillane and Diablo are probably going to play most of the time. Will probably be more of the nickel set usually. But those two are really good linebackers. I think they're very underrated.
I think they just play. I think that coach and those guys just understand each other. Like, there's something to be said about chemistry. And sometimes when you see it with a position group and a head coach or whatever, like, that's what the Legion of Boom was. Pete Carroll's.
But it's also our D coordinator, dude. He's
okay. There he goes. But you're talking
too.
a head coach who's a linebacker that is a Super Bowl winning linebacker. Like, that should be his best position group. And those two guys play reckless. Spillane plays unhinged.
Dude, he had the broken hand last year and had like picks with his broken hand.
Just flying though, too. He makes decisions before he doesn't think. He's just like going this way, like.
And I think the kid out of Ohio State, Tommy Eckenberg, I think he ends up getting more playing time probably over Luke Masterson. Tommy would be more of that 4-3 guy. He's not coming in on pass catching downs. In the back end, Jack Jones is going to be a stud. He's underrated. On the other side, you have Nate Hobbs and Bennett right now, but I do think I really want to see a DeCameron Robinson and the two rookies we did this year kind of step up. I still wish we went out and got what's his face that played for the Cowboys last year, Gilmore. I still think we could use him.
He's still out there.
I still wish we'd go out and get him. I think he could bring a lot of knowledge to some of these young guys and start on the other side of Jack Jones, and we'd be really deep on the back end there with Trayvon Morig and Marcus Epps on the backside. Marcus Epps is stud, and I think Trayvon Morig had an amazing year last year under Patrick Graham. So I think defensively, top 5, calling it. And your defensive MVP for sure is Max Crosby.
I mean, if the Raiders,
I might have been blowing smoke about Powers.
If the Raiders do have a top 5 defense, they will compete for the second spot in that division.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's exactly why I placed him there, was that, like, there's a lot of uncertainty on the Chargers, and they're coming together in Las Vegas. Like,
the Raiders definitely have a better team top to bottom than the Chargers. It's just
now
those
Herbert,
key positions.
if Herbert comes back healthy and throws for fucking 42 to 4,500 yards, then you're looking at a very big difference maker.
But then if AOC can or Minshew
if AOC
come out
can, if Aiden O'Connell can even throw for 3,500,
if either of them do without more picks than touchdowns,
it's the picks. It's going to be the picks that like can really change that argument, because Herbert's not really known as a pick happy guy.
No, O'Connell, what he's got to work on is just his pocket presence. I feel like if he can get better at that, then he's definitely the guy. Otherwise, Minshew poses a competition because he's better in that area right now. For sure.
And I don't disagree. I think Minshew has a very good shot of taking that starting job. Didn't he say you'd have a starter name by week 3?
After this preseason game this week.
So, okay, how do you think preseason 1 went between the two of them?
It was exactly what we talked about. Aiden O'Connell drove a methodical drive down, had way better completion percentage. Only had one drive just because he only played one quarter. Had a field goal. He did take a sack, but I think the sack Pete gave up because Colt Miller wasn't playing. Andres Pete gave up the sack. Field goal. Minshew ended up having 2 touchdowns, I think, and a field goal. But he ran for – he had a good run. Jack Jones had a pick too. But Minshew had a good run. But his yards were up, but completion percentage was down. So exactly what we talked about.
It makes sense. Between the archetype of those two quarterbacks, that makes sense. So you want to see – you've been levying on the Aiden O'Connell. That's who you want.
Yeah, I just look what he did last year and just you got to grow on what he did last year in those last so many games. What's his name never gave him a shot. In preseason last year, I thought Aiden O'Connell looked really good.
No, yeah, Jimmy was bad last year.
Well, and I don't think that McDaniels gave Aiden O'Connell a shot at all. I think that, and you kind of saw, I read a report after that, like, he didn't. Like, he kind of, like, didn't even adjust the playbook for Aiden O'Connell being his first start and anything. Like, McDaniels is just a turd.
Yeah, he's not a good head coach.
But then you look at the end of the year, I mean, he did have a bad game where they didn't throw for very many yards at all, and we should have won that game. We lost it. But then he grew. But that's also the offensive coordinator was the fucking quarterback coach, too, because they fired the whole offensive unit. They just didn't fire McDaniels. They fired the offensive coordinator. So
so since it's your team, win prediction.
Oh, we're getting at least 9 or 10. Making the playoffs, Charlie.
Playoffs.
I'm a wild card team, buddy.
Playoffs.
Wild card team. Here we come. Maybe number 7, but I'm in.
Hey, bro.
AFC is rough.
It's thick. Yeah, there's okay. I love it.
AFC North, bro.
I love it.
That's all right.
I love it, Z. No, honestly, there's a lot of what ifs, but like if Crosby and Wilkins play, you can win a lot of games when you only give up 10 points.
Yes.
A lot of fucking games when you get, and even if you have a schmeh quarterback, you can win a lot of games
And
like
if you
that.
can work the ball down the field with the
And if you got a defensive grinded out coach who can fucking coach up.
if the offensive line steps up, we're going to be right there.
I mean,
Even with either quarterback.
yeah, you're not touching the Chiefs.
No.
But your ceiling
I'm touching 7 or 6 in the playoffs.
I mean, other than quarterback play, your run game really has to come together for that style to work well with that defense.
That's true.
You got to find that guy.
Zamir to be pounding it. My one worry is I do wish we had maybe. Well, if something happens, we'll end up picking somebody up. But Madison, I like him, but if Zamir goes down, that's where you start getting in trouble. But then you have Amir Abdullah too, so I think we're good at the running back position. I think we're stocked.
Boom. That's
enough.
the AFC West. That's quite the breakdown. Let's go on to the best division in football.
No, it's not. It's close. All right, I'll read the 4 teams, and I'll go first since you guys have
Good.
teams in this division.
Read and vote.
Arizona Cardinals, Los Angeles Rams, San Francisco 49ers, and Seattle Seahawks. So Zach is going first.
What's up, bro?
Zach goes Rams,
Rams first.
49ers,
Oh,
Seahawks,
wow.
and then the Cardinals.
Yeah, wow.
The only reason I think there's so much dysfunction going on, I don't know if Trent Williams is where he's at. Without Trent, you guys lose. It's been shown. I do think the Rams are on the uptick. I might not pick it this way when we pick our thing next week since I don't have another week, but I am going Rams 1. I love what they do on offense. I think Sean McVay's the second best coach in the NFL. Defensively, I know you did lose top 5 defensive player of all time, but you drafted 2 guys, and your defense was really good with the other guys you drafted the year before, and you're young. So I think defensively, you're still on track to be a pretty good defense. You might take a little bit of a step back. I'm just more because of the Niners' dysfunction with Trent Williams.
Those contracts.
Contract situations that are kind of right now.
You think Ayuk gets solved?
Well, I don't know. And right now, you haven't heard no noise. We did read a little bit about if Ayuk gets signed, you're probably, that's huge. It's the Trent Williams one. How much does he miss? Is he going to come back week 1?
Is he holding out right now?
Yeah. He hasn't even been
Full
there.
holdout?
Full holdout. He's not like a hold in like something like Jamar Chase is holding in, but he didn't show up to practice the other day.
Well, Trent Williams has also made a grip of money in the NFL as well. So he could sacrifice a little bit if he really wanted to. If he was really looking for the next contract, he could hold out because he's fine in the wallet.
Because also as the Niners, you're also going to get everybody's best shot just like the Chiefs because you keep doing it. So it's not like you're just you're getting everybody's fucking A game
This
every time people
makes
come out.
so
man.
much sense though from Williams because Purdy is going to be paid because you have to. Because if you let him go, and he sucks, then the Niners look like the smartest franchise of all time. But if you let him go and he balls, what do you do? What do you do as GM? Because Purdy has gotten you to a Super Bowl, and he would have potentially gotten you to one before his fucking UCL snapped. Like, you got to pay the kid, right? So you got to clear cap for him, which means, I mean, you got to find it somewhere. And are you going to pay Ayuk or are you going to pay Williams? Like, eventually the fucking rent checks got to come due for this fucking team, dude. They're the highest paid tight end, the highest paid fucking running back, the fifth highest paid wide receiver in Debo, and they're trying to pay in another one. I'm not saying he's not valuable. I'm not saying he's not a great player. But where are they getting all this money from? The internet. The internet's got some money.
I have the Seahawks just barely missing the playoffs. I think that the offensive line.
I can help.
I think the offensive line is. Charlie's a little worried about injury history. I'm a little worried about injury history there.
No, absolutely.
Quarterback wise, still not a Geno guy. Defensively, I think there should be a lot better with McDonald, but still not really sure who's in the linebacker. I guess we'll see in a little bit. I think the linebackers are like kind of missing. Cardinals obviously are up and coming. It's about what Kyler can do with the offense. If that offense comes together.
We were all impressed by Jonathan Gannon last year, right?
Yep, and I think the offense comes together. Defensively, I got to look at it. I know they lost a kid from LSU that we all liked. He's a second-year linebacker.
Yeah, Ojulari.
Yeah, but other than that, offensively, they could be sneaky. Defensively, Jonathan Gannon is pretty good. I mean, we saw it last year, so...
if Marvin Harrison comes as advertised, him and Kyler Murray, if Kyler Murray just skirts around, dude, we could be looking at another Larry Fitzgerald in Arizona.
Can you guys do rock, paper, scissors for who goes next? One round. One go. One go. I want to see it.
It doesn't matter. Do you want to go, Trev?
I don't care.
All right, you go, Trev.
You're
Okay,
go last?
Boom.
It doesn't matter.
Do you want me to go? I'll go next. I don't give a fuck.
I was just wanting some rock, paper, scissors, but that's all right.
I'll go next. You ready? Okay. I hate to say this. I'm stealing it. Stealing it back. Because I hate to say that the Niners are going to win the division. Because
you're telling me the Niners are going to win the division?
yes,
fan?
yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Because if he can put the Raiders 2, I'll put my fucking Seahawks 2. Because I think that's how it's going to boil out.
Ooh.
I hate it. I want the Seahawks to succeed, and I'll get into their breakdown. I'm not going to go too deep now because I will later, But 2 for a lot of stuff you kind of named. 3 is going to be the Rams. Although I do believe in McVay.
And Matthew.
Yeah.
And Puka.
Hey, hold on. Do you know? Is it my take or your take?
I was just responding to questions.
No, and I understand that because you're not wrong, and there's a lot of talent there. But I will break down the wide receiver room in Seattle, and I think that there's some serious names there too. And then Arizona in last, only because there are pieces that they are putting together. They are going in the right direction, everybody. I will absolutely say that. They will win more games this year. They just will only win 7 or 8, which is not terrible considering they were supposed to be bottom of the basement over the last year, and they were supposed to be bad last year. And if you can get towards pushing towards the 7th seed, you're getting somewhere. And I think that the city's going to rally around Gannon. I kind of already like the dude, and I hate that because I don't want to like anybody in the NFC West but the Seahawks, but sometimes it happens that way.
Trev?
All right, so I'm going with my team.
Yeah.
I still feel like on paper they're one of the most talented teams in definitely the NFC for sure. I mean, how much of a hangover there is, we'll see. I'll get.
There's a lot of sadness from all the Niner fans I've talked to, which means the
definitely.
players absolutely have to fucking feel it.
I mean, and you brought up Trent Williams. The Niners, I believe, have over $50 million in cap space available. So they're
also paying Hargrave too.
Yeah, and he
And
was a bit
Bosa.
of a disappointment last year.
That's what I thought.
No, you're totally right though. Listen to those contracts.
Well,
How is
that's
this
because
happening?
the quarterback isn't getting paid yet, and he doesn't have to get paid.
He's making
this year either.
$985,000 this
So
year.
he might not even get that contract this season either. He's getting pennies on the dollar for sure. He's gonna get more money. I expect him to be good.
For the Niners, I have them first, though. My second team, like, they've been getting a lot of hype. I go with the Rams from number 2. They got a lot of nice pieces. The big question is what's the Aaron Donald effect? How does that change that defense? Because a lot of those players that played so well last year was because he was there. Now that he's not there, how is that going to look? It's a bigger question, I think, for their defense. That offense, I expect them to roll. I expect them to be the second best offense in the division. After that, I think it's actually kind of close between Seattle and Arizona.
That's what I thought too, Trev.
I think Seattle is like, they're in a rebuild that's not bottom of the barrel, like rebuild. Like they have pieces. They're making the change. They're moving on from Pete because they saw that coming to an end. We didn't expect Pete coming out even at the end of last year because they still played pretty well. I still think Pete's a great coach, but they're understanding that there's a transition that's about to happen, and they're making the moves to make that transition. But that quarterback position, it's a question. It's a question going forward as how it looks at this point. I think they do have a lot of nice pieces, so I give them the edge over Arizona. And I think Arizona still has a high floor, though, for this division because I think that offense is going to be so much better this season. That defense is what's going to burn them. Like, the fantasy-wise, I think Arizona offensive players might be some players to grab because they're going to be in shootouts. And I feel like they're going to get some more opportunities with this season. But I think both of those teams, Arizona and Seattle, are just missing the playoffs.
All right, I'll read the first two with the Rams and the Cardinals, and then you guys can
all right, then I'll just pull up my boys.
Either go however you guys want to rock, paper, scissors again, maybe?
I will technically go first because I am.
However you want to do
it.
I'll
read the other two, and then you guys can go last.
Second, so he will go last.
All right,
technically have the one go last.
I'll start with the Rams.
Fucking Niners.
Matthew Stafford, starting at quarterback, Hall of Fame Matthew Stafford.
He is. With winning the chip, there's no doubt about it.
That should put him in.
Absolutely. He's got the yards, the touchdowns, the seasons. Stafford's a beast.
Running back wise, Kyron Williams not talked about a lot. Blake Corum drafted. That's not a bad little sign for a couple years.
Second year and rookie. So really, there's not like a whole lot, especially in the NFL. Like Corum is small. He's only like 5'9", dude. He's like, I guess Sproles did it at 5'6", but I don't know if he's got that explosiveness. He could be, but like
I think he's just a banger to Kyron's more quickiness. Kyron had a good year last year.
Agreed. No, Kyron had a really good last year. The hype on him going into fantasy is fucking intense. Like all of my mocks, he's going within like top 30 picks.
Yeah, I see that. Running back. Wide receiver room, you got obviously Cooper, Kupp, stud, Tua Atwell. They use him really well.
Tutu Atwell.
Tutu Atwell. They use him really well. Puka Nacua. DeMarcus Robinson. So it's a nice little wide receiver room. It's just all about Cooper and Puka, though. Cooper gets open anytime he wants, and him and Matthew Stafford got like a nice little connect.
No, that's why honestly Tutu is the game changer in that, because when they run that 3 wide receiver and you're like, man is different then, because Tutu is going to take the fucking ceiling off almost all the time. And then those two guys are technicians in the middle of the field. Or Cooper will beat you deep, or Puka will beat you deep. They can run streaks and all still beat you too. So yeah, no, that is a triple threat. I can't disagree with that.
Tight end wise, you got Tyler Higbee, who's a stud.
I don't know about stud. I'd give him
solid.
Yeah, but not stud.
Colby Parkinson's a nice little backup.
Great dude, good hands, underrated. Once again, another one of those in Seattle that just never got a push to the front. We rotated so many fucking tight ends that and it kind of looks like he'll be hopefully the number 2 unless you got another name behind that. But
no, he's 2.
He's a good tight end. He blocks pretty well for a tall guy. Like great hands for a tight end.
And McVay's done an amazing job rebuilding this offensive line. Alec Jackson, Jonah Jackson on the left side, Steve Avila, the kid from TCU, up the middle,
He played well last year.
Kevin Dotson and Rob Havinston on the right side, and
Not bad.
And they just rebuilt it, dude. Andy Reid, Sean McVay, these guys just keep rebuilding offensive lines when they lose studs. That's like, God, that's so nice. Defensively, you got Brandon Fisk will be starting at one end, Bobby Brown the third up the middle, Kobe Turner could have been Rookie of the Year last year on the other side. Byron Young, he has had a really good year with them. Ernest Jones, Jared Verse is on the other side, so Jared's the other pass catcher.
Some rookies,
dude, and young guys. A lot of young guys. They've done another team that's done a really good job drafting. After selling like the farm to get all the other players,
ones forever,
but they keep hitting. They keep hitting on these threes, and now they start getting these ones back, and they start hitting on them. So,
boo Rams, boo.
on your cornerbacks, you got Darius Williams. On the other side, you got Tre'Davious White, Quentin Lake, Carl Curran, and John Johnson are up the middle. So defensive back-wise, they played well last year, but they got to make the next step. It's a young team. The Rams are actually a young team.
Very young team. No, absolutely. Even the head coach.
Yeah.
So next up, we're going to run over the Cardinals because then we're going to get into
our teams after that.
Cardinals, obviously, Kyler starting. Desmond Ridder and Clayton Tune are backups. So both second-year dudes. Tune, I don't know. I think Tune might be a little better in this offense.
Isn't Ridder a third-year guy?
Yeah, so Tune's second year is third year. Yeah. James Conner. Trey Benson's going to be your second dude. I love that kid coming out of Florida State.
I think he's going to grab more yards than Connor this year, honestly. I think
they got Michael Carter from the Jets.
think Connor's legs are kind of beat at this point. They have rode him between his Pittsburgh years and his Arizona years. He's been ridden hard, dude.
Yes.
Like, I think that Benson is going to get a lot of touches come the meaningful part of the season.
I do too. I think that Florida State kid's going to kill it.
He's going to ball. And so a sneaky pick in fantasy. There you go.
Over the Connor.
Wide receiver room, underrated. Marvin Harrison Jr., rookie. Michael Wilson out of Stanford last year had a great year.
Hands.
Had a couple
good
hands.
Good hands.
Zay Jones is underrated as well. He's going to be. Greg Dortch. He's that fast kid, that fast white kid.
Zay Jones, I feel like.
And Zach Pascal.
That's another guy who can play. I also just feel Zay Jones is one of those curious cases where I feel like he should be better than he is, right? Or I think stats-wise,
I think he had a good year with the Raiders and a good year with the Jags the first year. I think he was hurt last year. But he had that year with
But why
Carr.
is if he's that great, why is he bouncing?
I think he's good. I don't think he's I don't did he
No,
they signed him in free agency or they trade him? Oh no, they dropped him because they drafted Brian Thomas.
Yeah, in Jacksonville.
They released him. That's right. Trey McBride, stud tight end. He's an up and comer.
Sneaky.
He's an up and comer out of Colorado State.
He could very well end this year at TE 5 or 4.
I see a lot of projections having him in the top 3 even.
Honestly,
I don't think so because you're going to have Brock Bowers in top 3. So then, are you putting Kelsey?
True. Are you pushing Andrews out, or are you pushing Kittle out?
Yeah,
or are you pushing out?
Yeah,
okay,
so I mean, I don't know what you got.
Get that dirt off your shoulders, boy. Brock Bowers.
Line wise, Paris Johnson played pretty well last year for a rookie. He's still got to keep the
he needs some growth. Yeah, not physically. The man's a mauler, but like he needs some game growth.
Evan Brown, okay at guard. Froholt is your center. Will Hernandez really good at right guard, and then Jonah Williams is the guy they signed out of Bengals. So line wise, could be good.
If that shapes up, there's some names that have played some good ball in that roster. So I don't like to say it, but that's not terrible.
Yeah, this is where it's not great.
Like, give me some not great for the Cardinals.
And Xavier Collins up the middle, Bilal Nichols, which played okay for the Raiders, but he's not like he's a rotational guy. Justin Jones, Dante Still is your other end. Mac Wilson Sr. is your one linebacker. Zamir White is one linebacker.
Their front seven's bad, is what
Denise
you're telling me.
Gardeck is another linebacker.
No, their front seven is bad.
Well, it's not getting much better other than Max Melton and Buda Baker. So
Buda's older,
and Max is a rookie.
Best player on their defense.
Sean Murphy Bunting on one side.
Bunting's not bad.
Jalen Thomas up the middle. Buda obviously is your free. Max Melton's a rookie, and Garrett Williams. So your back end is not very good.
No, agreed. Shit, man. That's why they're fourth.
Shootouts.
They could be, which is why for fantasy they're great, because if you have McBride or Harrison or even Kyler on those days that he has to throw for 300 yards.
They're going to be passing a lot.
They should be, yeah.
Sweating my testes off.
Oh,
I'm sorry. It's because the AC is off because you'd hear a in the background the whole
So
time.
you want to start their
Yeah, I'll
sea
take
chickens?
Look, hey, we don't have to be disrespectful. I
I didn't
gave
mean to
proper
say that. I
love
didn't
to
mean to
your
say
team.
that. I didn't mean to say that.
You don't have to lie to kick it, dog.
I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean Seahawks. Go ahead, Seattle.
Look, man, this is why I wore this hat. This is my
clear my
favorite
throat.
shit. Let me clear my throat. All right, so the QB room is not going to be valued as high as, some people, but I honestly think that, like, Geno with Ryan Grubbs, with getting a real OC in there, Shane Waldron is not, I don't know, if Caleb Williams comes out and proves me wrong, then, it's very possible people are very high on him, and so are Bears fans. But Shane Waldron was not good in Seattle. I think Grubbs has a lot more to offer schematically and within that offense. So I think
But you're also not sure how much Pete kind of held Waldron back, kind of like how
Maybe, sure.
McDaniels was holding Patrick Graham back, kind of thing.
But I'll tell you, yeah, you're very right there. I appreciate that because Grubbs is going to open it the fuck up. Grubbs is going to do whatever he wants because that's why McDonald's brought him there. So Geno and Sam Howell are going to be the two guys that make the roster. We have PJ Walker right now, and he might be the third that
starter.
Honestly,
He's a good backup. I think PJ's a good backup.
I'm not going to shit on PJ. I didn't mind the signing.
I think PJ's a good backup.
I wouldn't mind if he stayed in a Seattle, uniform. So this team, I will preface this now, will move along with Geno. I think we have a lot of good pieces, but if we have pumpkin Geno, we're going nowhere. If we have dialed in Pro Bowl Geno, we could go somewhere. So that's the quarterback room. Running back room, I love the starters, KW9 and Zach Charbonnet. You have the
why 9?
That's his number.
Oh, because it's Kenneth Walker the third.
Right? Yeah, KW9. Yeah, that's his number.
K9.
Yeah, he's a stud. And then, Jesus, don't hurt nobody. And then behind them, so you got your Kenny's the lead back at a smaller dude, and then Sharp's the beast. I call him bowling ball. He's so fucking thick, dude. Watching that guy, he's like Gus Edwards style thick. And knock on wood, he needs to stay healthy.
Yeah,
he had a
both
little
of them.
boo-boo, yeah, for sure. Just like any, roster. But when they are both healthy, they're great 1-2. And then watch out for homeboy number 25, Kenny McIntosh out of Georgia last year. He got no touches in the regular season last year, but he looked really good in that preseason game. 8 carries for 40 yards. He's going to make this roster, and he's going to be that DJ Dallas third down back, and he could be really good in certain situations. Those are going to be the 3 that really matter. I won't read anybody else. In our wide receiver room, you have DK Metcalf. Obviously, you're going to have Tyler Lockett, and you're going to have Jackson Smith Njigba. It's my favorite thing to scream out on game day. Njigba. That's the best. I bought the jersey as soon as we drafted him. So I think those 3 can move some yards. I really do. DK, keep your head on. Lockett's one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. If you look at his stats across his 9 years, he's only had under 1,000 yards twice, and he's always had at least six touchdowns. Model of consistency in Seattle. So if the 3 of them play great, you're going to have D. Eskridge, who might make this squad, or Derek Young, and then more Bobo. # more Bobo, baby. 19, Jake Bobo, an undrafted free agent out of UCLA, has been...
He played pretty good last year.
And he's been shaking up camp this year. Now, highlights from camp or whatever, but even in his joint practice with the Titans that we've had before this preseason, playing well. So... I like that wide receiver room. I think there's a good mix of veteran and young, and I think that we cross the board with size and strength and speed and technique, and I think there's a lot to offer there. Now, once again, it all matters on the arm of Geno, and it matters a lot about that offensive line. But we're going to go ahead and move into the tight ends. We drafted A.J. Barner out of Michigan. We're going to push forward Noah Fant. I was talking high on him earlier. I'm really high on him. And then we're going to have Pharaoh Brown, who's going to be the blocking tight end. He can still squeal out and get you a catch or 2, but he's the blocking guy. So those 3 guys will be our tight ends.
Squeal out?
Yeah, a little sneaky sneak. So
if he's squealing, he ain't sneaking.
So then you're gonna have our offensive line at center. We just signed Connor Williams, which he needs to get healthy. But if he does, he was a top 3 center when he was healthy in Miami. So that's fucking great because we haven't had a top 3 center since we traded Max Unger for a fucking tight end. Anyway, Oluwatimi, I love him as a backup, but he is supposed to be the backup. Then you have Anthony Bradford, who we drafted out of LSU last year at guard. McClendon Curtis is supposed to be pushing for a starting position.
What about Christian Hayes? Get out of it.
We just drafted him this year. He's going to be the right guard. He's going to replace Damian Lewis, who went to Carolina. And then you got Laken Tomlinson, who's competing for a job at guard as well, he's a veteran, so he'll make the team. I don't know if he'll start, but he'll definitely be at least the 2 guy, the swing guard, who can play left or right. Charles Cross at right tackle's got to he's got to stay healthy and take a step forward. And then our backup we re-signed, this is a retread, George Fant. I don't know about that. That one scares me a little bit. But then Stone Forsythe, he'll be lucky to make this team. He's not played very well. Michael Jarrell, we just signed an undrafted free agent. He's been playing well from what I've seen. And then
what about Aaron Lucas?
Oh, yeah. Well, at the left tackle, right. Yeah, but he's...
Right tackle. Cross is your left.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. You're right. No, you don't. You don't. But you're right, though. Abe Lucas hasn't been playing. It's been we have this homeboy out of Utah, Leumua, that I think can ball. I want to see Lucas out there, but he's a huge question mark. He played 4 games last year and has been on the mend ever since. So I want him. When he was healthy, those first 16 games, because it was right before they shifted to 17, were really good. And he was solid. Him and Cross was like, fuck yeah, dude. You got the pillars at tackle. Whenever you can fucking do that, you're off to a good start.
Sure.
So, honestly, overall, I'm higher on the offense just because I'm a homer. That O-line has to come together. There's a lot of uncertainty. I think that they can, and I hope that they do. Because if we can keep Geno upright, we have weapons around him. But that's a big what if. If he's, eating a lot of grass, then we're not going to be very successful. This defense, we have reshaped the defensive line, and I fucking love that. At D end, you're going to be looking at Boye Mafe, and Uchenna Nwosu's coming back healthy.
Nice.
That's a big deal. Yeah, he was 9.5 sacks. We were top 4 in the NFL in rushing defense before he got hurt. Then we went to 32.
That's a big swing.
Insane. Now, is it just his fault? No. There was a fall off on a lot of different ways, but him getting hurt obviously did not help. So, Uchenna, let's get at it, dude. Then in the middle, you're going to have Leonard Williams, and we just drafted that fucking hoss out of Texas, Byron Murphy. Yeah, Byron Murphy's going to be fucking ill, dude. He's going to swallow up so much blocks in the middle, and he's going to make a lot of tackles, and he can get the quarterback. He is fast for as big as he is. I really like we've reshaped. Darrell Taylor's coming back. Draymond Jones I haven't mentioned. Jaron Reed's still up the middle for a rotational player. We have really rebuilt that defensive line. Now, that is going to be the pride and joy of Mike McDonald's defense moving forward. Our linebacker's a little shaky.
They have Unuosa lined up as a linebacker, what they're called.
Right. No, I know that's what they call him, but he's an edge. Uchenna Nwosu's an edge. He's far more a hand-in-the-ground player than, stand-up KJ Wright linebacker, a Mike linebacker. He's not that. I know they have him listed as that because technically you have to fill out your roster in certain positions. But that defensive line is going to be legit. It's where you really do get into the linebackers that kind of scares me. Jerome Baker and Terrell Dotson are supposed to be the 3-4 backs, and they're both supposed to be good from other teams, but we're building new chemistry. We let Bobby go to fucking Washington. We let Jordan Brooks go to Miami. And then Devin Bush didn't re-sign either. So our linebacking crew is very hands up. it could come together. It's one of Mike McDonald's strengths, so I'm hoping no matter who's healthy, we can get some love. Yeah, we can get some love out of that. Because John Radigan's there. He'll make that team, probably as a special teamer as well. They have Derek Hall, Tyrese Knight that we drafted out of UTEP. Supposed to be a sideline-to-sideline guy. He could be legit. Super fast for his linebacker position. And then you're going to get into our secondary, which I really do believe can be a potential strength for us. Trey Brown, Kobe Bryant, Artie Burns, Michael Jackson. It's funny as it says all that. Then 2 rookies that we drafted out of Auburn, DJ James and Naheem Pritchett. They could both make the squad as well. And then you're looking at Reek Woolen and Devin Witherspoon, who's an absolute fucking stud.
Good corners.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that room is legit stacked. Our safeties, we got rid of Mr. Hands of Stone once again and Jamal Adams. He couldn't stay healthy, nor could he play coverage. So I'm quite all right with cutting him and saving the money. The Quandre Diggs cutting was a little concerning, but I understand because it was a lot of money for safety. So we cut Quandre Diggs. We re-signed Julian Love, stud. God, Jay Love's going to ball this year. And then we brought over, we re-signed Marquise Blair, who's might make the team as a practice guy, but Rayshon Jenkins from the Jags, he's supposed to be the starter out there. So honestly, I like our back end. I know that, it's kind of young and there's some question marks, but there's a lot of speed there. That's why, honestly, this team has the ability to go 5-12. I honestly think we can go 12-5. It's why I put us at 2, just because I'm more aware of how consistent the Niners are and how less of a turnover they've had. I know that there's the hangover, but they're dealing with a lot less moving parts. Some drama, sure, and it sucks, for some of the office guys to have to deal with some of that bullshit. But, we had so many moving parts. Everybody's new. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach, a bunch of fucking players. Our linebacking crew is basically, yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I want to be realistic. I would love if they fucking come out and just smoke the fucking league. But that's a big what if. So let's end with the Niners, who I think we all can sense. No, you picked the Rams. I know you'll go back on that. There's no way you put that as your final. Maybe.
That's got to be.
He's a
Super
stubborn
Bowl
son of a bitch. Yeah, the New Orleans Saints is going to make the fucking Super Bowl.
I mean, stranger things have happened. But for the Niners, though, obviously Purdy's the guy. They have Allen, who's this is his second year, and he's kind of pulled up as that number 2. And Dobbs, they paid him as the number 2, so it's if they don't have to play too many games, you feel good about it. But obviously, Purdy, if he's healthy, I feel pretty safe that the Niners should be back at the top of this division. Running backs. I mean, the best offensive weapon in the game, CMC, and they got some nice pieces behind him. They keep drafting at that position and missing, but
that Isaiah Guerrero kid
injured. A lot of injuries. I think the Niners
he's already injured.
Yes, he's already injured.
He's supposed to be like a faster Brandon Jacobs. The guy's supposed to be a fucking hoss.
His vision needs some work. He has the speed and size. But solid there, of course. Health always the concern. Wide receiver Brandon Ayuk is in the news, of course, but he's probably the fourth option behind CMC, Debo, and Kittle. So that's why that money number is still trying to be worked out. We'll see. They said the talks are getting a little bit more serious. We'll see how that goes. Steelers back in the mix, but I don't think that's really that legitimate because I think they're only offering picks, and the Niners are in that win now mode. So I don't know if that really gets done. For sure, yeah. In both the Browns and the Patriots,
that were more legitimate trades. There was players coming back, so they would get that.
That
instant
Patriot trade was
substitution.
sick, dude.
If it would have went through, I would have been.
And he would have gotten the most money too. Like,
Yeah,
it was the best deal.
Number
on
one wide
both
receiver,
sides.
and if he would have signed.
Right.
But that wide receiver room, we got a lot of guys like on expiring contracts, but the top is heavy. Again, Debo, we got Ayuk, Jawan Jennings has really emerged, and he got that extension, and then drafted Ricky Pearsall. We drafted, can't even find his name. Jacob Cowing.
If you would have won the Super Bowl, Jawan Jennings would have been your MVP. He threw and ran for and caught a touchdown.
Yes,
He scored 14 points. He was massive in your win.
I mean, we're still paying
Sorry.
the juice, Kyle.
I don't want to show.
most
Yeah.
at fullback.
The juice.
because we use the fullback more than any other
And
team.
you restructured, actually. You took some of his
took his money away.
and he still makes
the
more.
took
last,
his money away.
the last 3
Ski,
seasons,
ski, ski.
his usage rate has gone down. He's still the highest paid fullback, though, and he's happy with that. So
He should be.
Yeah,
He should be happy he's employed. Fullbacks are rare, bro.
It's a rare breed going into the future for sure. Tight end, of course, Kittle. After him, it's a little bit of a mess. Like we brought in Eric Schaubert. I think he's our run blocking tight end. He's probably our number 2. After
I hate
that,
how much I love Kittle.
What happens if Kittle goes down?
then we're in a little bit of trouble at that position, and they'll probably have to change the offense a little bit more to go to the running backs and wide receivers at that point. Because there's not another like receiving threat behind Kittle. Offensive line, Brindle, I haven't been happy with, but he's the lead at center. I'm hoping that Feliciano, which has been our second best offensive lineman, moves to that position, because Pooney, our 3rd round pick, has just been, he's getting all the hype in camp. As far as being that guy that we drafted, he could be the guy that comes in and gets the most snaps for the rookies.
Which guy?
Pooney, our guard that we drafted.
I don't see him on the list.
Dominic Pooney was our rookie in the 3rd round. He's competing at this point with snaps between before we had Aaron Banks, who hasn't been good since his injury, so that's been a disappointment. And the other guard would be Burford, who our offensive line really likes. He has, as far as talent goes, he's high-end projection, but he's just not consistent enough. But he's definitely in the mix for that position. Tackle, of course, Trent Williams. We're working on that deal, hopefully to get that back. I think he's the priority, even over Ayuk at this point.
He is the number 1 priority. Ayuk should not even the fact that Ayuk is making headlines over Williams just goes to show you it's style over substance, because your team is better with a good left tackle.
Sure, and Trent Williams is definitely top 3 at his position, but he's 36, so that's probably why he gets some of the downplay. The other tackle, McKivitz, was him and Brindle gave up a lot of sacks last season. Like, their anchor is not that great, but hopefully, like I said, if Pooney can take that step into that, he's going to be in the rotation. If he can become that starter and we can move Feliciano to center, I think that improves the offensive line a lot, and that's what I'm hoping for. That kind of wraps up as far as the offense goes for them. It should be
still very notable. There's not really I hate to say this, but there's not a weakness, if you will. They have good talent. Now it's all top heavy, right? Like
the line would be the weakest element.
Sure.
Yes, the offensive line is the weakest part of the offense, and the weak parts are Brindle and McKivitz. And if they can play a little bit better, or like I was hoping for, even Brendel gets replaced, that might be enough to be good enough, is what I'm hoping for. Moving on to that defense, though, defensive line has gotten a little thin. Of course,
top heavy, but
yeah,
thin.
we got Bosa, and Bosa's playing great. He's returned back to form. He was a little slowed up last year after injury, but I expect him to be back as that lead guy on the edge. Opposite of him, we brought in Floyd. I'm hoping that he is able to stay healthy and gets a lot of snaps, because that gives Bosa his best chance to make more of an impact if Floyd can be healthy, because he's our best other pass rusher on the defensive line.
Where do you think Hargraves falls?
Hargraves, he talked about it last season that he needed to up his conditioning, and hopefully that's the case. But defensive tackle after him is very questionable.
Malik Collins you traded for with the Texans, right? Or got him from the Texans?
Yes, and he's going to be...
He's just a run stopping.
Yes, he's more the run stopper. It's him and... he might be the number 2. Him and... They also brought over Elliott. Him and Elliott are going to be that third defensive tackle, or or competing even for that second defensive tackle spot. That spot's a little weak. That spot could use some help. We've also brought in your Gross Matos on the defensive end. He's going to be more that run stuffer, that guy that's probably playing when Floyd's out or whoever needs that break. So defensive tackle is the more worrisome position there. Givens looked pretty good in preseason and training camp, but then he suffered an injury, and he's going to miss he might not be back until November, so that's a big hit.
Hell out.
So, and that's the more concerning part too, is that run defense, because we lost a lot of our best run stoppers in free agency. So that is kind of the big question mark there. Linebackers, Greenlaw is out probably until November. I love Greenlaw so much. He plays just angry. I love Fred Warner's probably a better overall
It's my
linebacker.
favorite way to describe fucking linebacker, though.
Yes, he is that guy. He brings the intensity for that defense.
Yeah, and it changed when he got hurt in the Super Bowl, running on the field.
And we're going to be missing him early on. We brought in
Devon
Campbell
right?
from Green Bay.
Devondre.
Yeah, that was a messy situation there, but he's a big man. He kind of stands out when you see him on the field. If he's vying to get the most playing time, and if he's able to stay healthy, I feel like we don't take that big of a step back at that position. D. Winters has also been a huge standout in training camp and preseason as well. So the linebacker core I feel pretty solid about with those two guys. They're covering for Greenlaw until he gets back. There might be, a little bit a slow start at that position early on, but going forward, I still feel like they have one of the best linebacking rooms in the NFL, especially when Greenlaw gets back. And then the secondary is, I think, the most improved. This is probably the best secondary I think that Shanahan's had under his regime. Bringing in Green with that draft pick, he's played both nickel and outside, and he's been pretty good for the rook position. But Diamador Lenore, I think, is going to be becoming our number one.
You think so? Do you still have Travarius Ward?
Yes, he's still technically our number one. I think with the contract situation, though, I think it's more likely that we move on from him after the season, anticipating that Diamador Lenore becomes that guy and becomes our number one, but he plays both in and out. Nice. So it gives us a nice flexibility in the backfield. I mean, starting, it looks like it should be Ward and Lenore as the 1-2, and then Lenore might even move to the 3.
Nico.
Because Isaac Yadam plays a very physical style. We've been playing him a lot at the number 2 position.
Okay.
So he might get that number 2 spot. Rocky Sen, Samuel Womack, Darryl Little Jr., these guys are all kind of fighting for that 4 spot.
So you're thin behind your 1 and your 2 on the back end, to be fair. You said it was the most talented potentially, but I don't know if I hear a whole lot of depth right there.
Well, 1 and 2 definitely solid. The 3 spot, we got a lot of guys competing, which I feel like
nice.
is a good. It makes you feel more confident at that position, at least, especially compared to the season we had last year, where it was a weakness in the defense for sure.
Sure.
And then safety has been outstanding. Like our Jair Brown has really stopped out. Hufunga was great. He's still coming back from that injury.
Right.
But the surprise in camp has been George Odom. He's led the preseason and training camp in interceptions. Like he's taken a jump in coverage where it's such a good enough jump where if Hufunga has to take a couple games to come back, that they're comfortable with having him back there. And then they drafted Mustafa too, which he's like the DK. He's just he just looks the part. He just needs some more experience.
DK, keep your mouth shut and catch balls, brother. You're a fucking beast, but golly.
But I feel this is definitely the best safety room.
So there you go, man. I mean, I think that there's just too much, even though the hangover might be real in San Francisco, and I really pray for it to be so, if I'm being honest. Like, I think that there's still going to be top.
The competition's
tier. Yeah. And whether Mr. Below the Super Bowl Shanahan gets another opportunity or not, like, yeah, I know. That one you can't really spit back on it. And an OC where he blew the biggest lead.
Yep.
Where all he needed to do was hand the ball off.
Since we talked so much about our teams this week, that's just our fandom this week.
Yeah, for sure. We've been dragging. Like, this is a 2-hour pod, y'all. We appreciate if y'all made it to this point. We appreciate you. Check us out on X and Instagram for the pictures of the beers, and make sure you go get yourself some Teton cider.
Yeah, check them out, man. They're easily 2 for 2, and not just 2 for 2 where they're like 6s or 7s. We're talking like 9s.
Yeah, no, stud. This was delicious. I'd drink like 2 or 3 more of those if we had them for sure. So make sure you listen to us. We're on Buzzsprout, which will lead you to any of your major podcast apps. And then we're on Spotify. And if you're looking at these beautiful faces, you're on YouTube. So like, comment, subscribe. Come back for Pod 64. We're going to figure out the layout of the next couple of weeks. I'm going to Burning Man here in a week or 2. So we'll figure some shit out, but we'll see you soon.